Hello everyone. Hello to Shadow. Actually, hold on. Hello to Shadow. Hope you're enjoying your Twitter and Discord break, and I appreciate it. Sarah, Sebastian, Jiro-sama, K-Sid, thank you for the follow. Vanilla Mures. Sorry. Dragonite, Andres. No need to feel guilty if you can't join in the streams. That's okay, Andres. I know you're a busy dude. Pro Pinkist. K-Sid, I said hi. Santi, how are you? Goodwood95, thank you for the follow. PTM, good luck with the master's thesis. Thank you, Vanilla. Dark Kebabs, how are you? Moons and Soul, good morning. So yes, today we continue and conclude Yorknew arc. Nice, Sebastian. I don't remember, does Platinum have a huge spike there? I don't really remember the difficulty. And yeah, we have spider subtags. Very appropriate for today. Hold on, let me change the music. Yeah, so last week, oh wow, whoopsie daisy, yeah, holy crap, why is the stream title all wrong? Jeez. One sec. So last week... Oh no. Ageception. So last week... Oh no, hold on. The natural one would be Franklin for... Okay. What a disaster. Yorknew City Arc finale. So last week, what we covered was episodes 39 to 50 is what we did. Cynthia has a spike on top of the... Okay, gotcha. Thank you, Time Lord, by the way. So last week, yeah, we covered episodes 39 to 50. This week, we're going to be covering episodes 51, Peak, to more Ace Attorney, to 58, End of Yorknew. And then once we're finished that, we'll be doing a end of arc character ranking, which I'll have better organized today than last time, and tier list for the episodes. So you can do some channel points bets if you want. Santi, that might be of interest to you. Or you could just, I could just rank them. I could just rank them straight up. Yes, Andres, it was like a 5.5 hour stream, but I really wanted to end right before 51. So yeah, let's see. The chaotic nature of the rankings is fun, though. I'm glad. It was a bit too chaotic for me, though. I need to be all in on the next Leorio versus Kurapika. I mean, it is Yorknew. So yeah, this week we will be starting with 51. We talked about Yorknew as a whole last week. I don't think I have too much to add, other than just continuing that. So yeah, yeah, I guess you did, Andres, but we can add more. We can have more, because the episode where I really started falling in love with Crollo was this one, was 51. But yeah, we'll have plenty to talk about, and we may have to get to future material down the line, because the fortune stuff, people might want to say some things, and no better time than now too. So we might jump ahead if people want to talk about that. But yeah, let's get into it. Yeah, 1 second. Let me just organize this. I can pull out Crollo's morality essay again if you'd like to, Sebastian. Go ahead. Perfect. Okay, so yeah, let's jump right into it, shall we? And last week I did a quick little poll about where this arc ranks for people, Andres. It was mostly 2, with a scattering of 1s, but it was top 2 for almost everyone. Where does it rank for you, out of curiosity, out of all the arcs, Andres? Interested to see where Crawler will rank? Me too. Exactly, Mandem. Yeah, we'll get to that. I think that's episode 56? Something like that. The second best arc. Okay, gotcha. 3. Santi says 3. Crawler number 1 free? We will see. We will see. Okay, so let's jump in. Episode 51, aka Absolute Peak. The episode, for anyone who doesn't know, this is the episode where I first actually started thinking, like, this is an all-timer series for me. Like, there were peaks before this. Uvo versus Kurapika, of course. Hisoka versus Gon, where I said, like, yeah, this series is probably a masterpiece. That's when I said that when I first watched Gon versus Hisoka. And then Whale Island, of course. But this is the first time where I said, okay, like, no, I am deeply in love with this series, was episode 51. A Brutal Battlefield. The true hidden episode titled Zenith and Peak. Best arc for me. Yeah. This used to be my favorite arc for sure. I like Succession War just a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit more. Yeah, that's very understandable too. Succession War is amazing. But yeah, okay. So we start off here. We have Neon doing her thing. Just love this shot of Melody and Basho. But yeah, we skip ahead. And then Neon does her disappearing act. As they sort of discuss what's going on. Not too much to talk about here. Neon just leaves. And yeah, she wants to go check in. And then we have this very ominous shot here. Yeah, Basho's looking pretty sharp. Look at this guy. The first of many quite good shots in this episode, in my opinion. And then we have the meeting of the assassins, where I love... it's just so cool to have this dynamic where Kurapika has been to their house, manor, whatever, is good friends with their son. They have this indirect connection that they don't even know about, but yet they're in the same room with each other here. It's just pretty interesting. Nothing really, Kairoven. We just started episode 51, which is the first episode we're talking about. So yeah, I just like this dynamic where these two parties are very familiar with one another, and yet they don't really know it. It's just cool. It took them quite a while to reveal to us what Corolla looked like in his suit. Understandably so. Yeah. They hint at it in episode 48, 49, I believe. Good morning, Kairoven. Yeah, and then I love how these guys are going, like, what code name should we use? How should we do this? Yeah, just use colors. And Zeno just like, what the hell? What about you guys? We'll both use our real names. It's fine. Literally thinking plebs, yeah. It would have been cool if they interacted here, but it makes sense that they didn't. Because neither of them have much interest in engaging with the other parties much. They're just here to gather their orders and move on. Yeah, and then Zeno literally, you're welcome to call me my name, we'll do this our own way. Kurapika kind of clocks it. And then he wants to give him a discount. Subtle flex. Let's skip this one. Whoops. Hey Geese, how are you? Nice designs, by the way. Something Togashi's always really good at is adding... Pre-Yorknew, Kurapika might have interacted with them, but by this point he was too closed off to even consider it. Yeah, he was honed in. Like, he perked up slightly at their name, and then just moved on after that. 30% discount for a Zoldyck job? It's a hell of a lot, I think. It must be. But yeah, so I love how these one-off characters are given such distinct designs. Similar to the clownish guy that looked like Ramot earlier on in the arc, who was giving off the conditional auction bounties, essentially, for the Phantom Troop. With no context, you wouldn't be able to guess that some of these characters, especially this guy on the left, is one-off fodder, just because there's creativity put into the design. It really adds to the idea and the feel of Hunter x Hunter being this living, breathing world with depth and breadth and rich in detail and thought put into it. I think the character designs that are more elaborate for the more one-off characters really go a long way to helping establish that. And then Kurapika, moving alone. Yeah, gives insane designs to side characters. Maybe even because they're side characters, he's able to have go a bit more wild. I'm not sure. The only reason they ended up being fodder is because they took on Crollo. In other contexts, they would have been pretty strong. Yeah, I just meant in the context of the story. Like, no one remembers these guys, with the exception of maybe this guy, because he's a bit more prominent. Yeah, I didn't mean to say that they're not skilled. I meant in terms of their story focus. Of course, they're deeply skilled, which is why they'd be hired for this. They just come up against the king. Then we have this loser. Kurapika, not much to say here. Kurapika just doing his job. They want to track down Neon. Who is this guy? Dark Kebabs. He's the guy who later on in this episode confronts Crollo and says just wants to fight him. And Crollo ends up making mincemeat of him with his pens and his fish. Creativity off the charts if he can pull off these designs for characters that show up for only a little bit. Yeah, absolutely. No worries, antagonist. You're not even very late at all. And then, like, here, I just love how the tension amps up. I'm not sure, but that drum track might be playing here. Oh, nothing. No, it's silent. Oh, here we go. That's the drum track I was thinking of. Thank you so much for the sub, AV Link. If you want that to go towards one of the goals, like Sarah just linked, please let me know. Otherwise, thank you very much. Zenji's one of the more annoying characters. Kurapika should have done more than punch and laser threaten him. Yeah, okay, so his name is Zenji. I can always count on you. Thanks, Sarah. How's it going, Joshua? I'm doing very well. We're discussing one of my favorite arcs ever, so cannot complain. I hope you're doing well. Melody in the glasses is very cute. Very cute. Yeah, the way Light jokes is always funny. Light has some funny moments like that. It's like, oh shit, my daughter ran away. And just, yeah, this track has great utility for when tension starts amping up or for chase sequences, but here I love how you just feel like everything's coming together. Oh shit, like what's going on here? I was stuck with a way of getting past that gate, without a way of getting past that gate. Thank you so much. And then here we go. It's a confirmation. Oh, really? Really, Sarah? That's hilarious. Bank is fine? Okay. Will do. Thank you, AV Link. Our king. He's here? Little did he know, well, maybe he did already know what he would do. He'd be a big part of Peak Fiction. Okay. So, Also love how he's like a chameleon. He's so easily able to go into this persona, to have this lackadaisical, very casual, very charming, charismatic voice here. Credit to Mamoru Miyano, of course, but like think of his quiet, haunting voice normally, and compare it to this. It's quite a contrast. Like there's just an easy, casual nature to that just would draw someone in, and he's really adept at, donning that skin. My favorite Chrollo outfit? Mine too. Chrollo in this episode reminds me of Johan and his antics during Monster, yeah. And Chrollo and Johan, very similar characters. I definitely get that. They have similar themes kind of associated with them, and similar ways of interacting with the world, like similar outlooks towards their place in the world, and similar ways in which that outlook on the world manifests, I guess you could say. You forget that Chrollo just looks like a normal dude. He just dresses eccentrically, minus the forehead thing. But yeah, Chrollo, improvise, adapt, overcome. I never made that connection before between Chrollo and Johan. No wonder I love him. Seriously thought this was the episode when I first started becoming fascinated with him. Me too, and that's because of something that... Well, actually, no, I was fascinated with him before. I was hooked before, but this episode just turned it up another level because of something we're going to get to in just a second. Both have an identity crisis because the world stole theirs from them. That's a great way of putting it. Absolutely, Joshua. Yeah, their identity, their purpose, their sense of self has been stolen from them, young age, and a lot of what they do is a result of them searching for that purpose, a byproduct of them searching for that purpose, and or a compensatory reaction in response to being beaten down, metaphorically, earlier on in life. Definite tons of parallels, and they just have similar vibes in a lot of ways. Me too, Verver. I love that percussion track. And both steal other people's identities to compensate. Yeah, we're going to get into that in the next episode, but Chrollo... Actually, I already talked about it. Chrollo's power being... I'm making a video about my top 10 favorite Nen types. Chrollo is right up there. His power being that... Nen being a manifestation of someone's personality or characterization or all of that sort of stuff. And then Chrollo's Nen being that he has no identity in his Nen of his own other than stealing from other people. That is so telling. Like, that is so great. It's wonderful. It's so awesome. Nen is perfect, man. 8,000 arrows. Oh yeah, we covered a little more than half the first time, so now we're going to be finishing it today. They have an oddly shaped void that they try to fill in with even more odd ways. Yeah, like they don't know how to fill that void, so they struggle and fumble through their deeds and acts. Hey, Hukex. Hope you're doing well. Chrollo and Lael parallels. Yeah, one's a bit better than the other, IMO, but yeah. Lael and Shalnark parallels as well, with their little phones. Very similar vibes, both undeniably do terrible things, but also undeniably have such an aura of tragedy to them. Also, they're both gorgeous. This is true. Both are beautiful men. Yeah, Lael greater than Chrollo. Yes. I love that word, Sebastian. They both have a wistful core of longing and empathy. In that you need a great deal of empathy to understand things from their perspective. You guys see, like, Twitter loves to slander the hell out of Chrollo. Johan lately as well, actually. And that's very understandable because characters like Chrollo, I say characters like Chrollo, there's no one like Chrollo, but of that ilk, and Chrollo specifically, you really have to really put a lot of effort into specifically putting yourself into his shoes and understanding exactly where he's coming from and why he does the things he does. Because if you don't, like it's such a high threshold that you have to cover, that you have to surpass to be able to buy into the character that way. Chrollo's a challenging character in that way because if you don't put everything into trying to understand him, he can just come off as one note or edgy or vague or lazy, or like a blank slate in the lazy sense of the word, you know. So it's understandable that characters like Chrollo catch quite a bit of slander because they are challenging. They are puzzles. It is difficult to fully understand them. And even if you do, and I'm not trying to say that if you don't fully understand them, you automatically, if you don't like them, that means you don't understand them. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying it takes a lot of effort to fully, to get them, to buy into them. And naturally, that's a threshold that is just too much for some people. It's understandable. We only have a limited amount of time on this earth, right? Good characters for real. Yeah, I'm really doing really well, Hukex. I've been very productive the past few days. I've done a couple of videos, lots of work on other videos. I just recorded my One Piece review for Syrup Village last night, so I'm pretty happy. I'm in good spirits. Hope you're doing well. Oh yeah, you already said you are. The difference is that Leola is too lazy to develop a unique identity while Chrollo is desperately searching for one. Too lazy to develop an identity. I love that. That's a great descriptor of him. Leola isn't one of my favorite characters. Yeah, with Johan, it's less so than Chrollo. I think for me, Johan has a lot less directly shown expression of his emotional side compared to like Chrollo, and I think that's why I buy into Chrollo a lot more in comparison. Chrollo's a lot more upfront in the moments where it really matters, like this episode. Glad to hear it, Sarah. That's going up on Patreon as soon as I can edit it. It's quite long. It's longer than the first episode review, so it'll take a little bit to edit it, put it together, but yeah. Thank you, K-Sid. Thank you for the resub for 2 months. Thank you so much. If you want that to go towards one of the goals, please let me know. I think Shy Poop has the same issue with regards to needing a very empathetic viewpoint. Absolutely. We'll get into that way later. But Shy Poop the same exact way. Which is interesting, because you need that. Again, it's that very high threshold with Shy Poop, very similar to Chrollo. That's where a lot of their bits of their characterization or bits of their approach to the character writing overlap, but they are so different in basically every other way. It's crazy. Chrollo never came off to me as lazy. I always thought his lack of his own ability was very interesting because he's trying to search for an ability even though he can never get a unique one. Yeah, I love that too, Hukex. It's really cool. No worries, Suspect Spine. Things are really good. Hopefully you're doing well. Anyways, let's continue. And then Shalnark doing his thing, doing his manipulations. Nice work. And again, Kurapika's able to do his very multifaceted ability. Have you seen my a video, Pro Pinkest? Because I think that's one of my best videos, and I think, even if you don't like Shia Poof, I think you can see things from the viewpoint of someone who thinks he's an amazing character, at the very least. Ace Attorney stream, you got it. I will put that in right away. The Ace Attorney is almost funded now. It's at 84%. Oops. 84%. Dowsing, yes. That's hilarious, Exotic. I wish I mentioned that. I did not, but that's great too. And then, okay, so the atmosphere of this scene is just so good. They immediately play this piano track. I don't know what it's called. I don't know the English word name for it, but it is so great. And this is where the episode, I mean, it's really thrilling. It builds in tension as things comes together, and you see what the Phantom Trooper are doing, and you see their plan. But this is where it really started entrancing me. The lighting, this just looks gorgeous. The general color palette with the purple, the warm colors, and the reflection off the mirror, the night sky and the city in the background there. as she tells him his fortune. And then here, um, Nakama Tolu Koto. Perfect. I think I might have it actually. Uh, the actually in my iTunes it's all screwed up. That's the name of it. This scene is so good. Um, you know that scene where he tries to explain himself to a main character? What when he asks why he does what he does might feel like a cheap attempt at depth, but then you remember that his technique is stealing other abilities and it makes a lot more sense. Explain to a main character why when he asks why he does what he does. Which scene is that, Jotaro? Um that scene where he tries to explain himself. Oh, explain himself. Sorry, I misread you. Yeah, the scene where he tries to explain himself. He explains his ability. Um, yeah, it's a condition. It's a condition, and oh no, that's not a condition. But yes, why he does what he does. So that's what you mean. In episode 56, I believe it was, where he's in the rain, right? Let me just clarify. I don't want to make an assumption. Are you talking about the scene in the rain, Jotaro? Yeah, Shia Poof is a character that understandable if you don't like him, but I think it's clear that he's super well written and presented. Oh yeah, Shadow, I know exactly what you're talking about. A parallel between Krollo's Nem power and Meruem's. What? I can't say I have really thought about it that way, Dark Kebabs, but maybe if I were to. Okay, yeah. Yeah. So Jotaro was talking about the scene in the rain. I guess even if his ability is stealing other people's abilities, that is one reason why he would go, why do we do what we do, etc. We're gonna get into that scene later. But also it's just who he is. It's just who he is. The fundamental basis of and core of Crollo is that he cannot find himself. He doesn't know his role in the world, his identity. It's been stolen from him, and he's been searching for it ever since. And so the troop let's just dive right into it, eh? The troop, through pillaging and stealing and killing and whatever, that is the most overt way to interact with the world and leave a mark on the world. It's also a emotional release, a natural emotional release from people who have been downtrodden early on in life, right? So it's just a natural way for them to act. It's a natural way for his band to interact with the world, like I said. But he might not have realized that. I don't think maybe he's never articulated that. Maybe it's never been brought to his consciousness. So when Gon asks him, "Why do you do what you do?" it makes him really think. Why do we do that? We can analyze his actions, analyze his character, the writing, the presentation, and everything, and make the conclusion that I just stated about the spider, about Crollo, about why they do all these things. But he himself, probably judging by his reaction, has never really thought about that. And then he says, is that the key to understanding myself? Because he doesn't understand himself. And maybe through understanding and taking apart why they do these things, it'll help him gain a semblance of identity. Even just a semblance. Cool, Thomas. Glad you enjoyed the video, and no worries about the lurking. I'm always glad to have you in here, whether you're lurking or not. Listening to the stream in the background and the name Jotaro caught me off guard. Yeah. music off for this. Because this is the moment where also lovely Ghostwriter, great, really cool ability. And then right here, this not only is this shot really great, love the purple, love the pink, and then Crollo's eyes reflected here. This is a beautiful shot. But cool, Elijah. Cool. Hope you're enjoying Daredevil. Um, just his fixation right here on lovely Ghostwriter. It's not just I want to steal this, it's I need to steal this. And we know why. Crollo, I'm not going to harp on about what we talked about last stream with fatalism and determinism and his ideas with human beings essentially being puppets. As he believes them to be. We talked about that a lot last stream, won't harp on it a lot. But naturally, if human beings are what he believes they are, if things are predestined or laid out in front of him, lovely Ghostwriter fulfills two functions here. Firstly, it'll help him realize his own identity through understanding what his future path could potentially be. So by telling the future, he knows where he will go, and he will gain greater understanding of the type of person he is as a result. Also, believing in predestiny and fatalism and etc., this will help him to... The thing with Crollo is he doesn't believe in one path. He believes in a soft determinism where... Or not a soft determinism. I forget the specific school of thought, but it's a type of determinism where there are multiple predestined paths and you can avoid certain fates by doing certain things. So he believes in multiple predestined paths, but he doesn't really believe in agency for human beings. Thank you for the follow, the shadiest man. So this will help him to avoid undesirable ones, while also keying into his fatalism, keying into his identity. The two major aspects here as to why... Thank you for the follow, Scrubble. The two major aspects and elements as to why Crollo wants this power are his identity, gain a greater understanding of himself and where he'll go, and his fixation on fatalism. Luciano, how's it going? Lovely to have you in here. I was just telling them that I recorded my Syrup Village review video just last night. So I'm excited for that. Sorry about that. That'll go on Patreon kind of soon. Robbie Damon is pretty good as Crollo, yeah. Sorry, let me just scroll up a little bit. I missed quite a bit. The tragedy of Crollo for me is that he doesn't realize how much self he really has. Remind me to touch on this a little when the Requiem hits. I'll try to remember, Sebastian. I might be a bit too caught up in peak fiction. But yes, that's a great point, because something I've said about certain characters, I say this about Wolfgang Grimmer and Monster. In a lot of ways, I guess very vague thematic spoilers for Monster, but it doesn't say too much. With regards to a couple of characters in Monster that I talk about, I think that the desire to have emotionality or to have feelings is a feeling in and of itself. So you apply that to Crollo, I think that his desire to want to have an identity is not an identity in and of itself in the way that is, but it forms a core, a seed, a kernel. I think Crollo conceptualizes himself as a complete blank slate. I don't think he is. I think his desire tells you quite a bit about him. He can see humanity, but he sees it from the outside looking in. He finds them so interesting, but he doesn't consider himself to be part of them. He doesn't have this identity. He doesn't have what a lot of people stake their life on. The way a lot of people are able to live, to exist. And so his yearning for that, I think, is a part of his identity. That desire. Which is important to bring up. Crollo firmly showing desire in a strong capacity for once. True. This is like the most fiery we've seen him. Immense desire. The dub, away from Kevin, the dub fortunes, I don't like how they're translated as well. Oh, Hannah, I missed, sorry, I'm so far behind in chat. Here for one of my favorite scenes. Yes, one of the peak episodes, eh? Is this still one of your peak episodes, Hannah? I think it is. I think it has to be. Okay, let me get through chat. I love how at this point in the story there isn't an explanation regarding the exact conditions for Crowell's ability, but you can easily guess how they work, especially with a handprint on the book. Yeah, there's a lot of subtext there in the visual design of his ability. Does Cruella's fortune have anything to say? Anything has yet to happen. We'll get into the fortunes in just a second in the story. No, Son Gohan. Thanks for chatting though. Absolutely, Joshua. Uh, so towards the end, Shadow, keep the succession stuff you want to talk about in the back of your mind. Then we can, towards the end of the arc discussion, we can have a little bit of a chat for the manga stuff. So I do think a lot of the stuff with the Phantom Troop and Crollo and Fortunes and things like that, I think it would be incomplete if we didn't talk a little bit about later stuff. So we can have a little bit of a section for a discussion for the post-anime stuff at the end. Honestly, Luciano, my willingness to read One Piece on my own, has it progressed? It's progressed, but it feels wrong to read it on my own because I know a couple of people are rereading it with me, and the experience is so fun. So the instinct is there to read it on my own, but I'm gonna hold back just for the sake of the streams and how fun they are. He is hot. He is hot, Dragonite. Yeah, Robbie Damon. I think Prompto what might be one of my top 3 Robbie Damon performance. Everyone's a slave to something. Yeah. Yeah. Cruella just doesn't understand what his something is exactly. Not Mishka, how's it going? Sorry, I'm catching up to chat. Vehement, you missed a bit of Crollo gushing, a bit of Phantom Troop gushing, identity. Identity is just generally not as grand and cosmic as one would expect, especially in Hunter x Hunter. To love and to hurt is more than enough. Yeah, but the problem with Crollo is that he doesn't realize this, and so I think if he were to pour himself into that love and hurt, he would be able to much more easily form an identity for himself. But because he doesn't think that's enough, and because there are undoubtedly blank spots because of his upbringing, because of the way he is, he's not able to fill in the gaps and compensate in that way, and so he just is endlessly searching. It's very wistful, and there's a longing to Crollo that is so powerful. Yes, most definitely, I think this is my third big peak episode. Yeah, I think this is my 4th. I had the Gon versus Hisoka, Whale Island, and then Kurapika versus Uvo. I think this is my 4th big peak episode. Thank you, and nice shirt, thank you very much. I just got it shopping with someone quite cool. Oh yeah, the Phantom Troop discussing their fortunes is so cool. No, I'm not, Kendall. But I'm a supporter, of course. Crollo is in that way similar to Killua, who's compared to the rest of his friends doesn't have something to pursue, except that Killua knows what he doesn't want, which is a place to start with. Crollo has no idea. Yes, exactly. Crollo has no idea what he wants or doesn't want, aside from very simple things like, I don't want my troop members to die. I want to find myself. But those are so nebulous, or almost throwaway, that it's not enough of a focal point for him to grab onto. Yeah, and what can I say, antagonist? Hey, Mr. Glyra. Okay, I've caught up to chat. Perfect. So let us continue. So this is a great moment, and I love how it zooms in here on his eyes. Like there is fire in those eyes. Not literally, but you know. And it speaks to all we've said just now. Kurapika continues to douse, and then here. I continue to love how this is shot. Very raw, Andres. And I don't know, something about this scene is almost, it's in a lot of ways it's very lonely, very sad, very dark, melancholic, wistful, if you understand what's all the elements going on here. But to me, this scene is actually quite therapeutic. It's quite it puts me in a sense of calm before the storm, if you will. Just the music, the lighting, the tone of their voices. And, episode 51 is Chrollo's episode, in my opinion, but it actually does quite a lot for Neon as well. And then we have the Fortune. There's also another parallel contrast between the two of them and Meruem, but we'll get to that later. True, we will. Chrollo's been living so long thinking he's lesser and that everyone else had something he didn't, but as he's grown and somewhat escaped the more tangible oppression of Meteor City, his core is still the same. What he has to realize is that his conception of identity is misplaced, still thinking he's missing something. A lot of the core, I like that idea, that a lot of the core of what he's missing comes from the idea that he believes he's missing it in the first place. He is so set on that. And it's understandable that he'd feel that way coming from where he's come from. It's lamentable. It's, in my opinion, sympathetic that he acts that way. And it's kind of avoidable that someone would grow this sort of complex coming from where he came from. But you kind of just want to shake him and go, you're okay. You've got what you need. Focus on that. But even that wouldn't do it if he feels like something's missing regardless. It's like an endless search. There's an element of The Great Gatsby to Chrollo. Bit of a weird comparison, but if you've read it, hopefully you understand what I mean. The fourth Peak episode, I forgot Killua and Gon going to Whale Island. There's just so much good I can't remember it all. Too much Peak. And after this, and too much Peak after this as well. Thank you for the follow, Just Cross. Does Chrollo lack the agency Killua finds in his tagging along quest with Gon? He needs this power to be able to make sense of his future. I don't think Chrollo lacks agency. I think he just lacks direction. But yes, this ability gives him direction. And as we'll see, it gives him the impetus to focus on where he's going in life. Yeah, I got that, Sebastian. Just made it Crude Solo. Suit Chrollo is sexy as fuck. He is indeed. How's it going, JTD? Therapeutic indeed, yeah. Yes, you did hear that, Santi. Element of Don Draper? Absolutely. Yep. There's elements, yeah. Yeah. Great Gatsby, Don Draper. It's very close, Shadow. It might be the first. 20 is so good. But when I think Peak, I think Triple S. And I think 20 is just on the cusp of Double S. Glad you enjoy him, despite not thinking he's as high up as a lot of people, Elijah. Glad you enjoy him. And then so we have it here. 残された月たちは盛大に弔うだろう。Damn it! Sorry. I was muted. No, my voice. Damn it! I was saying some nice stuff. What's your Gatsby rating? The Great Gatsby, probably like an 8 out of 10. And I was talking to Elijah. Glad that you like him despite him not being super high up. Did I say that? I don't know if you could hear that. The troop got me. Yeah, sorry. So let's get into this. Yes, sorry. The Fortune. The calendar loses a precious component, obviously referring to Uvo dying, the troop losing him. The months gathered to mourn, referring to the troop mourning him. Hey Isaiah, how are you? By the way, Isaiah, sure, go ahead, Andres. That would be cool. By the way, Isaiah, you have some subs in the bank. Would you like them to go towards anything? Because we have more goals now. So yeah, go ahead, Andres. The mourners play a melody, which directly refers to the symphony later on, the Requiem. while the 11th moon quietly rises. And that's pretty self-explanatory. Discord DM. Okay, let's see. Let's read this one. Forever set, a precious moon is lost. The others mourn him with ceremony grand. Rising up to heaven, the mighty moon of frost with a melody from the morning band. Holy shit. 1 second. Harvest barren, wine spilled, lovers slumber beside the bloody scarlet eyes. Actually, a lot of this is similar to the dub translation. Though cut in half shall be your number, 'tis not lost wherein your advantage lies. Amuse yourself with the entr'acte. This is almost directly the dub version, which I said I prefer the sub to it, but no, this is poetic in its own way as well. It's actually more cryptic, I think. Amuse yourself with the entr'acte. Seek out new friends once in a bind. Perhaps to the east one can be tracked. To the one most needed, you're sure to find. Thank you, Andres. 5 more for Melody. Perfect. Thank you so much for the 5 gift subs, Isaiah, for everyone who got those. You thought I said 4chan. For anyone who got those, hope you enjoyed the emotes and the badge. Thank you so much, Isaiah. I always appreciate your support. So let me just quickly make a note of that. So you have 6 subs, and they are going towards Melody. Perfect. I'll add those in percentage-wise later. There's another cool translation difference I'll bring up. Cool. Thinking about your first time watching, how well do you think you interpreted these poems? The ones in the sub, at least. Well, they do in large part explain some of them. This is pretty simple. I interpreted this pretty well. Some of the stuff with the fortunes in the troop in episode 54, I believe it was, some of it was lost on me the first time around, but it offers so much intrigue and so much hooks for what happens later on that I was less thinking about what it meant and more going, what will it... I was less trying to solve what it meant and more just thinking, I want to know more. I want to see what happens. While the 11th moon quietly rises. And then here, this is where Crollo absolutely hooked me. Hook, line, and sinker. Just, oh my goodness. This just says so much here. A quiet tear. The first bit of overt, genuine emotionality we see from him. And it just makes you stop and pause and think. Like Neon just going, what is going on? And with the piano in the back, amazing scene. The tear just shining, dripping off his cheek. Oh, it is so... he cries here because it's a confirmation. You know, he had thoughts about Uvo. He might be in trouble, he might be dead, but this fortune confirms his death. And this is where Crollo shows his immediate reaction to it. Which is grief, sadness, tears. Absolutely incredible expressiveness. Hunter x Hunter has the unparalleled expressiveness in illustrations for character design. For the character designs, excuse me. It's so good. I didn't miss the Go East thing, I just didn't know what it meant, Sarah. His face doesn't even quiver. There's a simplicity to this that is heartbreaking. The nods to Christianity and the poems add so much elegance and lyricism to Yorknew City. I love it. Yes, it adds to that element of Crollo's fatalism, and it adds this sort of like you say, this lyricism, this elegance, this larger-than-life feeling to it and scope to it. It's not just this band of thieves and this revenge quest and how they interact and bounce off one another. It is larger than that. The scope is larger. Thank you for the follow, Pistachio. Yeah, him shedding a tear here is very shocking. I I don't agree either that he's cold. I just think I think there's a warmth to this personally. We don't need an extended flashback to tell us how much Crollo cares about Uvo. The single tear is enough. Yeah, that's all. That's all you need. And it's shocking nonetheless. It's startling. You thought he cried because he thought the poem was pretty? That's funny. Good catch, Pro Pinkist. Absolutely, Master Chang. Discussing absolute greatness. We got to move on. We got to continue going through. It's been almost an hour and we've talked about half an episode. Well, we talked about more than that because we've talked about lots of things, so that'll leave us time to go quicker through other episodes. But nonetheless, he must be thinking to himself, "Why should I cry?" Because it does, Sarah. Why should I cry? Because what is it about him that requires this? Is he doing what he should because this is what people that he embodies would do, or is he just unable to hold back because he too is a human? There must be a great amount of curiosity as he does that. That's a great point. Like, am I just is this a natural mask, or am I emulating humans? I don't think he ever thinks, even still though, that he is a human. I think he thinks that he's emulating humans. Crollo is such a twisted, awesome character. I can't really dwell upon it a lot at the moment, Luciana, for obvious reasons, but I think it's great. It's really intrigues me and it's really hooked me. The next episode should be a banger. Glad you're ready for that, Isaiah. And then she never looks at the fortune she writes. Interesting. I have a feeling they're more accurate if I stay away from them. And then this is so interesting. So he asks Neon, this verse refers to a requiem for the dead. Do you believe in the afterlife? And so it's like, you think to yourself, why is he asking that? I think it's genuine curiosity because Neon, with this power, must be in touch to some degree with the supernatural forces of the world. So she might have some even subconscious insight into whether ghosts exist, whether the afterlife exists. And in that way, that could potentially make Crollo feel closer to Uvo, or those who have departed him. But I also think he's just genuinely curious. I think he's genuinely curious about this. I think he is. I think he's interested in what people think in that regard. Because he's interested in humans. He definitely finds them interesting. I just think it's very contextual with regards to backstories, Master Chang. I think it's very contextual. Because at times there are backstories, but a lot of times there isn't. That I think that just has to do a lot with Togashi's stream of consciousness, natural, organic writing style when it comes to characterization. Because Togashi loves shonen. Togashi is a huge lover of shonen, and a lot of what encapsulates shonen is backstories like that. But I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe it is a response. I'm not sure. I don't really know what to make of that. Togashi adores shonen. Crollo seeing himself as an outsider to humanity also makes him a parallel to Gyro. Oh, yeah. Gyro and Crollo parallels go super hard. Super hard. Daredevil, Elijah. Chimera and the ultimate love for shonen. Netsudo? Won't get into it, but oh my goodness. And then, yeah. So, what she says here, I don't really believe in the afterlife. My fortunes are for people who are alive. Like you, Crollo-san. I'm guessing that the Requiem also, look how, I love how there's this light in her eyes as she talks about the hope that she tries to bring to people who are alive. It's a lovely little twinkle and nuance to Neon's character for what she wants to do with this ability that she's been granted. She wants to do her version of good for it, and there's such a twinkling in the eyes here, an idealism, a romanticism with regards to it. Oh yeah, there's proof all over the damn story that Togashi loves shonen, all over the place. Neither Dragonite? I mean, we can talk about it sometime, but I wasn't planning on doing either one. I think we actually already talked about it. We might have already talked about it. We can dwell on it more. No, there are no Jujutsu Kaisen streams planned in the future, not Mishka. Except maybe when the anime starts airing, I can do reactions to those on Sundays, but no streams specifically. But yeah, love this illustration, love this expression. And sorry, I missed something that Sarah said. I love the idea Nam brings up in this episode about fortunes being written and told to help the living. She mainly does so because she herself doesn't believe in the afterlife, but it's a lovely sentiment. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I was saying here. I love that. Yeah, okay, so we talked about Volume 0 already. Thank you, Antagonist. Mod, please, can you please delete, Master Chang? Guys, please do not talk about explicit things that happen later on in the story. This is you can allude to them, you know, like I said, gyro, Corolla parallels, you can do that. Please do not say explicit things that happen. I talked about Chimera Ant, I said, like, you can just say out names, like, Chimera Ant, Netsudo, yeah, but I can't dive into it. That's fine. Do not say explicit things, because there are people following along who have not read the manga, have not gone to future arc things, you know? We did not, Andres. I don't believe I said that. And then yeah, the fortunes, she heard this from a fortune teller. The fortunes are meant to make the living happy. So the fortune teller tried to avoid giving negative fortunes. The idea was to encourage people to wish for and work towards better things, and that's the core of her philosophy. And again, look at the twinkle in her eyes there as she talks about that. It's really interesting. And then Crollo. So look at the contrast here, as Neon talks with this wide-eyed wonder about being moved by the idea of trying to help people through her fortunes and help them work towards a better future. Crollo, in listening to that, there's just a resolved sadness there. He wants her power for his own means, but he can't bring it within himself to have that sort of hope and idealism. I think he finds it interesting, I think he finds it on some level admirable maybe, but he can't relate to it, and you can see that through the contrast in these expressions. Just, oh my goodness. It absolutely does, Sarah. I like them more or less the same, Philzoff. I think that up until the Requiem, 99 is a little bit better, but I like in terms of visual direction. And then after that, I like 2011 a bit better. 99 portrays Kurapika more viscerally and more effectively with great imagery, but I like the voice acting better in 2011. I like the flow a little bit better, and the pacing, I think it's a bit tighter, if that makes sense. I think it flows better. So it's very close between them. I slightly prefer 2011, but both are masterful. Yeah, she's the first person outside the troupe to really have an impact on him. It's very fascinating. How's it going, Temispi? How's it going? Very deep dive, Nightshade. 1 hour and 5 minutes, haven't even finished the first episode. And then I love this scene. This is an extension. This is an extension of what, as he repeats it in his mind, this expression here, again, says so much. It's so great. as he reflects. Oh, and then right here. The mourners play a melody. The chrysanthemum withers and falls to lie on the ground beside bloody scarlet eyes. This gets explained later on. But you will remain supreme, even after losing half your limbs. Talking about the amount of deaths that could ensue if things go in that direction. And he is deeply worried about that. Enjoy the interlude. Search out new allies. East is the direction to go. You'll find the one who awaits you. So, obviously, the idea of losing limbs, losing part of limbs, thank you for the follow 9 Depot, is very upsetting to him because, as we've talked about, he pours his identity into the spider. His identity is the spider. Enjoy the interlude. Oh, I just realized what you're talking about. So good. So good. Some of this will be talked about in Greed Island in future stuff, but yeah, so he doesn't want to lose his limbs, obviously. He can search out new allies, find new limbs, but these are eternal parts of him. You can't just... He considers each troop member to be a part of himself, and so even if you can replace it, even if the spider can persist, he is mourning both a friend, a family member, and a part of himself that will never be replaced quite like the way it was before. Thank you for the follow, Guipabi. I love the tone shift Crollo makes at the end of his Neon conversation to the next scene. Yes. And thank you for the hydrate, 9 Depot. And a few years later, that fortune teller was arrested for being a con artist. Galactic Grandma. And then this is it. Let me just let you guys hear this. This is amazing. The tone shift here. Oh no, I think I have to refresh. Damn it. Amuse yourself with the entr'acte. An entr'acte is an interlude in the opera. Yeah, it's just an alteration, but it's the same sentiment. And then right here. Personally, I believe in ghosts. And that's why I'll do as he would have wanted. So raw. I don't have anything to say other than that this shift here, insane dramatic direction. Insane voice work. The smile on his face, let me just get rid of my camera. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Absolute peak. Absolute peak. And then he pulls on the mask. The chameleon pulls on the mask right away, right again. And then plot stuff. This guy sees Crollo. He can understand. That's my prey. That's who I want to fight. Oh, this moment is so good. And then from here, things ramp up, and ramp up, and ramp up, and Light gets angry. He kind of puts a bit of a leash on Karapika. Oh wait, no, sorry, that's a different scene I'm thinking of. And then here, yeah, somebody help! She's collapsed. What books was Crollo reading? He was reading the Bible at least once. That can turn me gay. Very understandable. Hey, Pedrolito, how are you? Light Yagami is very angry. Crollo doing his thing. Love the ominous, dark, greenish, bluish, black color palette here that becomes an iconic look for this scene. By ghosts, does Crollo mean, in a sense, the value of the past? He's always looking forward, believing that he's incomplete, but by saying that he needs to pay tribute to ghosts, he's recognizing the value of the life he led in the past that he's always been running from. I do think so. Hey, Melia, I'm doing really well. Glad to have you here. How are you doing? Yeah, I do think that, Sebastian, and it kind of intertwines with what I was saying before of the permanence of certain aspects of himself, of certain legs. those, Uvo, he can replace the number that Uvo was and form a newer identity with a newer leg. But he will never have Uvo again. And he does dwell on that. And he does find some bits of subconscious identity through dwelling and mourning that. Maybe Andres? Chat was going a bit fast. Oh, sorry, I got you. So this is the one. Crollo doesn't say, I believe in ghosts. He says, I believe in the human soul. The sentiment is a little different. Yeah, so one of them keys directly into the idea of the afterlife and fortunes and what Naam was talking about. It's more of a natural, I feel like that translation is more of a natural transition from what they were talking about before. Whereas I believe in the human soul, very different. I think that actually keys more into the idea of his identity or identity as a whole. I think it's more introspective than the conversation he was having with Neon. I think both are very in character and very contributory. They just diverge in different directions. Both are cool. I believe in ghosts. I like a bit better for the flow of the scene and the relevance to Uvo. A bit more directly, a bit more simply. But I think both are really cool. Fiji, thank you so much for the resub, the 3-month resub. Do you want to put that towards one of the goals? Which I'll link right there. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Vagabond's going well. I'm on chapter, 20 or something. One Piece and Vagabond. They're going slowly, but I'm doing well. I'm making progress. So sad. Hope the studying is going well, Melia. Oh, Sarah already got me. Okay. And then we continue here. This guy, I forget this guy's name, but he is not that guy. He is not that guy. Did you think about numbering the spiders? What do you mean, Pedrolito? Do you mean ranking them? In terms of the characters I like, the characters I like most? Or are you talking about something else? I unfortunately can't stay here since, work, but I just wanted to say something I love about Crollo opposed to other antagonists is that he's very calm, clearly confident in his leadership. Although he doesn't have a clear identity of his own, he deeply trusts the troop, but also he's not afraid to do things on his own accord. Like we see here with Neon, he's extremely skilled and manipulative. I love all of that about him as well, Emora. Thanks for sharing. Too bad you can't stay, but thank you for sharing. And I love all that as well. The Fly episode, perfect. Perfect, Fiji. I'm glad you did that. You're donating to the Fly episode because I have I have a distinct script in mind for that. Fly, right here. 18.5. Thanks again, Fiji. The Virgin Knife user versus the Chad Pen using Crollo. Yeah, I am, definitely, Fiji. I just recorded my Sierra Village video. Oh yeah, Emora for sure. Crollo is the core of Yorknew. Him and Karapika, I think, are what make it tick. Absolutely. You're not that guy, pal. I believe we have a soul, and considering how Crollo feels about himself, we can really only reference the troop. Yes, absolutely. So since that's followed by Crollo wreaking havoc, I feel in a sense he's honoring the lost. Yeah, for sure. Validating their existence. I totally agree with that, Andres, with that translation. I believe we have a soul, translating, going directly into wreaking havoc. It's pretty clear, right? Yeah, and then telling Nobunaga about their symphony, he'd be really pissed. He'd be really pissed. Thank you, Melia. Well, the videos are there for one thing. The streams are here for more natural, off-the-cuff discussions. And I'm sure you can if you focused on it. I'm not hating on the Fly episode. Or I guess you're not talking to me, Jotaro. What? Can we say explicit intercourse shit in the chat? Intercourse. You're gonna have to give me an example, Blossomfully. I'm a little confused at what you mean. Maybe Crowell's reference to his own soul is actually talking about his cosmic essence with regards to his obviously existent fatalistic purpose. I think it could be talking about a number of things. I think it directly alludes to what Andres was talking about, but in that situation, I think it was referring to that, but I completely agree that it also, another function is talking about that as well, Sebastian. The indescribable emptiness moment always stuck with me. Yeah, we're gonna get to that in a bit. Kurapika's an amazing character. Oh, you can say fuck in chat. If that's what you mean. That's an interesting way of putting that. But please explain. Jotaro, I have honestly no idea what Blossom was asking about, which is why I asked. I don't feign anything, I promise. Oh, no. Okay, no. Blossom, let's get away from that. I don't want that. I don't want that. Please don't. You can talk about how hot he is. Let's not go there, though. Anyways. Let's get into some peak. No, let's not do that. Let's not do that, Jotaro. We discussing episode 51? Exactly. And we've been talking for an hour and 17 minutes, and we're only now at the beginning of the Requiem. I wish I could play the whole scene in its entirety. The boss added a rule this time, says Feiten. And then the gentle fade into the crescendo of the music here is so good. Of Lacrimosa here. Using Lacrimosa here is one of the best directorial decisions the entire anime has ever made. It's insanity how good this is. I get chills. I think I did know that. Joel Hat. I can't play the whole thing. Oh my gosh. I thought this song came from Hunter x Hunter. I associate this song primarily with Hunter x Hunter. Poor Mozart. And then as he talks, his gentle voice here overlying. This is oddly therapeutic. There's this symphony of destruction and blood and explosions and death and brutality, but it's soft. Just listen to Crollo's voice here. And Crollo talks about the mourners playing a melody. The choir in Lacrimosa almost sounds like the mourners. It is a deeply mournful song. And it's so gentle and it's so sad. It's an expression of deep grief. And this is essentially a tribute to Uvo by the way, iconic. A tribute to Uvo in the only way that the troupe can really express themselves, one of the only ways, but in the way that's most loyal to Uvo. Death, destruction. The ultimate tribute for him. The ultimate requiem for him. Yeah, brutal actions to somber music. The contrast is phenomenal. As Finks does his thing, we see each of them doing their own deed. Their own manner of expression, unique and identifiable to themselves. Thank you for the follow, Nightshade, 3 minutes ago. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. This anime peaked. Oh my gosh! And then Paku, the shot, and then it cuts. Machi. Enjoy the interlude. Unbelievable. The first time I watched this, my jaw hit the ground. I was in absolute shock. And then, top 5 episode in Hunter x Hunter? Yes. No question. No question. If I had to, the absolute lowest it could ever be is, for me, fourth. That's the absolute lowest it could be. And then to this, again, once again, we talked about in the past, in the past stream, through the visual direction of Hisoka. So like the Phantom Troop are all gathered in their hideout, the abandoned church or whatever it is, in their hideout on the ground. Crollo is there with them, talking on the same level on the ground. But in that episode, Hisoka is by the window, bathed in moonlight, above them, showing his separation from them in energy and in role. This is this to a much greater extent. Everyone on the ground level, except for Crollo, who is composing, but he's taking up the same position he did in the church. This is essentially a metaphor of that on a grander scale. We have, in the church, Crollo on top, reading his Bible, candlelight. Then on the bottom, we have the troop, right, looking up at him or chilling, whatever. Then we have Hisoka, high up again, but distinct and separate. Here, we have Crollo on the top of the building, conducting. We have the troop, carrying out his orders, the Requiem, ground level. Then we have Hisoka, looking on, lofty status, completely distinct and separate, completely different energy. Just looking on. It's so good. Not participating, exactly. Not participating at all. And then, yeah. What makes the scene so special to me is how, even though it's the antagonist slaughtering, it feels so triumphant, which I've never really felt from an antagonistic group in fiction wrecking shit. I don't know if I'd say I feel triumphant, or I feel triumph from this, but it feels like gratification. That's how I'd put it. And then Hisoka just curiously looking on here. Initially, it seems like the Requiem is an expression of anger, but we must consider how Crollo subverts traditional human aspects. Violence isn't the choice because it's how humans unleash their rage, but because it's how Uvo defined himself. Exactly. The troop do what they do and lash out. In large part, I think there's a core of retaliation there, anger at the world. But this in itself is an expression of what would seem would be traditional anger, but it's subverted because of the context of Uvo and what he represented and what the troop represented. And it's a celebration of him, what the troop did for him, what he added to the troop. And it's all Uvo. It all has to do with Uvo. Davinator, how are you? It's as Uvo would have done. Yep, exactly. And then what I love here, brilliant visual direction here, is that Crollo is shrouded in mystery here. Because as this is going on, we don't have any idea, we don't see his face. He's cloaked in shadow. He's facing away from us. Love the shot composition here, in the corner here, just looking out, reading his book. So right here, he's looking out, we don't see him. The indoor fish. As he explains the indoor fish, again, we don't see him. Again, we don't see him, right? Again, we don't see him facing outside. He's shrouded in mystery here. What's he feeling? What's he doing? How is he going to express himself here? Again, storyboarding absolutely beautiful. We just see his hand here. The window comes down. And again, maybe my favorite of the collection here, the wind blowing, the curtain flowing. Again, we just see his back turned. He dies, the fish go away. The book closes, and then finally, we see his face. Eyes closed, and what's he about to do? The Lacrimosa fades away, and he begins his composition. One of the most iconic. This shot, I really love this one. Indoor fish is such a stupid ability. Hey, it contributes to this scene, so I have no qualms at all. I think it's really cool. For sure, Josh. I need to rewatch the dub version of this. Uvo's so good. Uvo's so good. Very Kurapika-like of you, Mr. Crollo. This scene is the storytelling equivalent of the orchestra working in perfect symphony. Every aspect of it works together to deliver an unparalleled performance, and Crollo is the conductor, in both a metaphorical and literal sense. Absolutely, Fiji. So, like, what I'm mentioning here is back turn, the mystery here, the direction, the Dutch angle, the angled shots here, the troupe, their powers, the way it's shot, the colors, the color palette, Hisoka looking up on, them being on the ground level, Crollo being above, the music, the sound direction, the fortune overlaying everything. It's perfect. It's perfection. Like you say, it's a perfect symphony. Every element of presentation and writing works in perfect harmony. This is just, it doesn't get better than this. It just doesn't. I get that for sure, Kyroven. This reminds you of Arcane Episode 6. That sequence is amazing as well. That made me tear up. It made me choke up. If you watch my reaction to it, I was kind of losing it. The last time he's able to be Uvo. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Further playing off the idea of Crollo already having a self and personal desires. Yeah, he looks at it as something that's permitted towards him, and this is the last time he's able to do this. Yeah, that's a great way of putting it, Sebastian. Because there's a sadness there. He's letting go of that, not realizing that he can act in his own way. He has that agency. That's cool away from Kevin. Okay, and then let's let it drop. I can't play the whole thing. And then this one here, from this scene here, just pure pandemonium. Moves, iconic. Can you hear us? We are playing a requiem for you. And then the music swell. Oh my god. The way that the choir swells right there as we zoom in and it gets louder, right here. Crollo stops talking. And then here. As it zooms in on his face. Oh my god. Oh. Oh my god. And then the narrator. It was the start of a stormy night. Fierce and drenched with blood, yet somehow overwhelmingly sad. There's no better way to put that. Overwhelmingly sad. Somehow overwhelmingly sad. The wording of that is vague enough to invite the watcher, invite the audience or reader to try and understand why, the why behind the somehow. Understand Crollo. Why is he doing this? Why is it so sad? It's overt, it's Uvo, it's everything, but the deeper reasons for that, pertaining to the identity of the spider, of Crollo, of why he's mourning so personally in this way. And then transition to the ED with Riot playing over it. Jotaro, I've been acknowledging Mamoru Miyano since Crollo was introduced, so you don't need to go looking for acknowledgement from me. We've already talked about it a lot. I can't do it. I can't do it. Absolutely, JTD. An hour and a half. I think that was enough time for episode 51. I can't deal with it. That is the Spoiler alert for my tier list later. That is the first Hunter x Hunter tier above Triple S episode. Oh, yeah, imagine how Togashi must feel seeing this brought to fruition with that much love and care and understanding. Have you seen people getting the spider tattoo? Yeah, I've seen that for sure. I've seen it quite a bit. Madhouse knew they were delivering peak fiction. They had to go all out. Oh, Togashi says he hasn't seen that? Out of embarrassment. Don't worry, Exotic. Jotaro's a negative Nancy. They're upfront about being a buzzkill. Just ignore if you want to. It does so much for the immersion, for the whole atmosphere of the scene. Treb, for a question, for an answer on that, I'd recommend going to my second channel on YouTube. Right here. You can see the link there. And look up my thoughts on the hiatus, or there's a video called My Thoughts on the Hiatus or something like that on Hunter x Hunter Returning. So that'll answer your question. Anyways, episode 52. We gotta speed through this a little bit quicker, but I don't think there's as much to talk about with these. This is pretty plot focused. Okay, Benny Sakura, I never heard that. Hiatus will be a good command, but then I can't direct people to my videos, Santi. What about that ad revenue? I'm kidding. I don't think there has to be a command for every common question that people ask me. If I can direct them to videos where I articulate myself, I think that's pretty good. Oh, thank you, Sarah. Sarah just linked it directly. Thanks so much, Sarah. Okay, and then we have, Crollo coming down. This is kind of a falling action sort of thing. We have this doctor. We have little operations. We catch back up with Gon and Killua. True, Sebastian. Togashi 2023. It's coming. It's coming. They make their way over there. More stuff with Kurapika. And Kurapika here, notably, is being hamstrung. What's interesting is there's a bit of a tug of war for Kurapika here because he needs this job as head, as boss, second in, right-hand man to Light because of its connections to the underworld, because of the influence it grants him. It was exotic. But because he has to obey that, it doesn't allow him to go out and do what he wants to do, which is investigate, see what's happening on the ground level, see what's going on with the troop. And he's being taunted by these guys, these other guys, you know. And then so he's able to patrol eventually. And this is just like a snapshot of what's going on. And then here, we get his first interaction with Gon and Killua, where they finally... Oh, the ponytail guy's Bean. I see. Or they finally make contact with Kurapika. They make contact with the Phantom Troop, so they tell him that. I won't help you get yourselves killed. And then... So I love this. Kurapika says, stay away from the troop, because he's obviously thinking of their safety. He wants them to stay safe. And then Killua here. You're the chain user, they're looking everywhere. If you don't treat us as friends or equals, we'll do whatever we can to help. Killua, who didn't know, couldn't even conceptualize what a friend was 30 episodes ago. Excuse me. Couldn't even conceptualize what a... yeah, Gon's face there. What a friend was 30 episodes ago. Now goes to, if you're not going to treat us as friends or equals, we're going to do whatever we can to help. But yeah, Kurapika does not want to lose friends. A big A big theme here of this arc is Kurapika and whether he will put his quest for revenge ahead of the safety of his friends, if he's able to do that. And the contrast with how the Phantom Troop operate, in which they, if they stick to the code, will put the entity, the spider as an entity, ahead of any individual person. And then in the end, as we see, Pakunoda and Kurapika are not able to do that. They have to, they put their connections to individual people first, ahead of these grander goals. Because at the end of the day, connection is what speaks to these people the most. But we'll get into that. But yeah, this is the first inkling we get here that Kurapika, well, maybe not the first, but one of the most overt ones, that Kurapika does not want them to be in harm's way. He doesn't want them involved with this. And then one of their members cried right in front of us. I got really mad after seeing that. We talked about what that has to do with Gon before. And they're saying, please let us help. And you see him just weighing that in his mind. The pandemonium continues. And then Shalnark going, "Aw, damn, he broke." Very creepy. So yeah, it continues. Yusuke continues watching. Killua has gotten so much character development in that part and along the whole series, also in Chimera Ant. We can see how important friends become to him, even though this all happens in a few months. That development in such a short time shows how much Gon means to Killua. Yeah, Gon has, and also Kurapika, Leorio, but primarily Gon has changed how he conceptualizes everything in life. That's also, we see a lot of what the importance of Heaven's Arena through how he's changed his viewpoint on friends and all this stuff in general. Sorry, Andres. Sorry, Andres. Okay. Hopefully not. We'll be getting to the fortune soon. Bean. Yeah, okay. And then Kurapika continues internalizing. And then, I love this. They're making this huge ruckus. And then we have just Silva. That's how you get their attention. If I'm not here when it happens, can you show the one manga panel we talked about? I don't know if I have access to it offhand, Andres. If you can send it to me right now, then sure. Absolutely. If you have it offhand, Andres. And then this is just a lot of plot stuff. And then I love this here. And then so we get to another, in my opinion, highlight of this. And I love the music swelling here. Very mournful, the Phantom Troop theme, as Kurapika just searching here. The Zoldycks are looking for Crollo. And then here, Kurapika's being forced to choose between the two things I was talking about before, stay at Neon's side or pursue. And he chooses Neon. Okay, thanks, Andres. The stair sequence is really good. I'll show it, Pedrolito. I'll show it. Don't worry. We'll come to it. Love this shot of Crollo. And then, interesting. This is revealed here that Silva killed one of his people. It was difficult. And this is where we get the reveal here, I think, that he can steal abilities. Oh, it happens, so it'll happen either episode 54 or 55. And then here, I love this. I love how they just kind of casually walk to each other here, and then it just starts. The haunting theme, and then it starts with silence here. The camera swivel. So cool. Again, that approach to sort of ambient intensity used similarly in Gone vs. Hisoka, a bit used here as well. Yeah, them being silent the whole time. Again, very similar vibes to the sound direction of Gone vs. Hisoka for that one moment. And then he cuts him. He takes a quality knife to scratch me, and then he cuts it off with his hair, with poison that would have knocked out an elephant or whatever, paralyze a whale. Very smooth animation, absolutely. The anticipation for the eventual showdown was gripping too, and the way it ended so calmly really showed that there are really no evil in the show. Interesting. Interesting. I agree that there's no evil in the show, for sure. Well, actually, there is, but it doesn't involve these people, in my opinion. There are evil acts, there are evil deeds, but I think that on the grand scale, I don't think Chrollo is evil. Neither do I think the Zoldycks are evil. But again, I admittedly have a very high threshold for what I consider to be evil. Like, I'm just going to mention a minor character in Chimera Ant. I would say, you know, the Chimera Ants who had the human dogs, Spot and Rover. Like that guy. That's evil to me. That's evil to me. Again, guys, please do not hint at future stuff explicitly. But yes, like it's just saying Prince 4, that's fine. I'm just saying as a reminder, no one said anything bad. No one said anything bad or spoiled anything. I just don't want you to get further into it. But yes, I can see that definitely for Prince 4. Absolutely. Why is Chrollo not evil? I direct you to my video on him, essentially. There's too many layers, too much nuance there for me to consider him evil. If evil, why hot? And then, yeah, so he's... You must clear 4 or 5 conditions before you can steal an ability. Again, a nice allusion to the restriction and pledge, or the the rules system for Nen. I don't think evil is possible in Hunter x Hunter just because of what the story thinks of evil. If you view it from that lens, for sure, I think I get that as well. This old man's a difficult opponent. And then what I love here is, once I lock him in place, kill him even if you have to kill me with him. That's very indicative of Silva. This is a job. This is just a job. But he's willing to completely sacrifice his life for that job. He's almost subservient to the job, to the profession. Or maybe not subservient to it, as it is more important. It is larger than life to him. It is more important than his life. Interesting line here. Even if you have to kill me with him. And then one of the most Kino abilities in the entire series. I always thought he said he was because putting his life on the line would strengthen his Nen. I mean, there are multiple functions, right? Love the red eyes. Dragonlance? Yeah, it must have been a lot, Isaiah. I'm trying to get to a specific part. And then right here, Silva maneuvering around. And then this is so cool. Just a hint, right? This, I mean, this is not, these shots are so good. Look how good Chrollo looks there, by the way. Just a hint, just a drop of their past history. That they've got history, the past fight, the past time when he killed one of their members. He looks great here as well. And then, wow, just a hint here, but it's enough to build this intrigue and again make the world seem grander, make these characters and their backstories feel richer. Yeah, Chrollo looks so great. Silva, I think, looks really great as well. From Beyblade. That's funny, Exotic. Yeah, it's done really quickly. Like, it's done really quickly. It's done within, like, 3 seconds. Bam, bam, bam. And then, not even, it's like 2 seconds. And then here, holds him down, pins him down. And Silva's fully willing to kill his old man for this. And then fade. Oh, sorry, I thought it was going to fade there. I forgot about this part. Absolutely, Shadow. That's Hunter x Hunter. The little details could just have you completely thinking new things about characters. Chrollo being a prime example. Illumi also being a prime example. Speaking of which... And I love how this is directed. We're into episode 53 now. Love how this is directed. This fight in the manga's peak paneling. I have to reread it. I don't know. Is it in volume 11? I'm obviously not gonna reread it here. Oh yeah, I just went to it. I just opened it and there it was. That's funny. Cool. But awesome, absolutely, Geese. So and then I love this quiet opening, this thunder, the power goes off, everyone falls down. Kaluto. Could you be more specific, Ari? And then Illumi right here. And then they get this notice from the 10 Dons. Everything's okay. The auction's going fine. Yeah, so enjoy yourselves. And then again, this rain. Yeah, no, Maha was there in the manga. Maha Zoldyck. Yeah, in 99 as well. And then I love this, as you see the fly here. Yep. The candles blow out, and then it pans here to actually one of my favorite shots in the arc here. Right there. Love that. Love this so much. The thunder illuminates him. The theme, direction is so on point. I can't speak enough about it. And then love this. They both survive. Love how casual this is. Like, oh. Like they weren't just battling to the death. L'Oreal moment. This fly was a reference to Breaking Bad's Fly episode, Togashi's primary motivation for writing Hunter x Hunter. Very true, Vehement. For more of a discussion about that, you can donate to my Breaking Bad Fly video goal, where I will talk exclusively about Togashi. I love the casual nature of this. Oh, were you fighting? And then here's where we learn that Illumi was hired by Chrollo to kill the 10 Dons, and there can be simultaneous, even kind of conflicting jobs going on within the family at the same time, neither of which supersede the other. But if one is done first, it completely eliminates the need. If one is done first, that results in the death of someone who hired the others. It completely eliminates the need for their contract. At which case, I have no reason to kill you, as Zeno says. It seems we both get to live another day. AG on the grind said with the ad. Yeah, it's so cool. It tells you a lot about Zeno. Business, family, profession first. We both get to live another day. Aren't you supposed to kill me? We were hired by the 10 Dawns. Also love the storyboarding here. Now that they're all dead, you're no longer our target. You won't get another chance like this. And then here, love this. There's so much you can glean from this. Do you believe that we kill for pleasure? Sorry, let me just read a message from chat. I've always considered this scene such a good glimpse into Corolla's abilities because we have the two Zoldycks who are more than ready to put their lives on the line and they can't manage to really hurt him. Yeah, I mean, they do some damage, but he's not ever really in super mortal peril, as we can see by the damage that is done. But as Corolla says, they were holding back, or at least Zeno was. Or no, sorry, Corolla was holding back, so ignore what I just said. Ignore what I just said, which is very interesting. Can I change my choice? No, Fiji, it's set in stone. Well, if you're actually asking, sure. But yeah, do you believe that we kill for pleasure? Tells you so much about the Zoldyck family motto, about Zeno, about the philosophy. It's so good. How does the Zoldyck family get so fleshed out, being just a very minor plot thread in the grand scheme of Yorknew? Which take? That's why Ilmi can't be the heir to the family because he likes killing. Interesting. I like how this is one of the few things the troop actually need money for, avoiding contracts put against them. Yeah. Nanomachines. Did you know that I hired Ilmi? Of course, but that's irrelevant. These conflicting jobs, yeah. We simply do the job we were hired for. That could be the crux of a whole discussion on the Zoldyck family. If you and I were to fight one-on-one, who would win? Most likely I would win, unless you decided to actually try to kill me. So he's holding back, trying to steal their abilities, as someone said. As someone said earlier. Maybe for other reasons as well. I like to think there are a couple of other reasons. Why does Kurapika never mention that he met them to Killua? There are quite important things going on that are their primary focus. It probably just didn't come to his mind. I don't know. He maybe forgot, didn't think of it. There are bigger priorities. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, he says here. Also, I love this little side glance here from Silva. You can just sense the history between these two. And they dramatically walk through separate doors. These cheesy motherfuckers. Why are you leaving through separate doors like that? It's so funny. But yes, and then Corolla says he wanted to steal. I couldn't steal their powers, so that's why he was holding back. I also think that there may be this is just headcanon, but maybe an element of that humans are so interesting thing, of observation of how their family operates. I think that humans deeply interest Corolla. I think that someone as powerful and reputable and impressive as these people would be of great interest to him. So I think he was also just observing them. but also but primarily the powers, I stated right here. Leaving through the same one leaves a blind spot. Is that it? Thank you so much for the 10 community subs. Guest, thank you so much. Hope you continue to enjoy the stream. I really appreciate it. I really, your support is invaluable to me. Thank you so much. You got quite a cushion now for the top donator for the month. Thank you immensely. What would you like those to go towards? You're incredibly generous. I do wonder how Ilumi and Krollo first met. Emir Freckles, you got it. You got it. Emir Freckles. Actually, I can do that. That is 12.5. That's 70. That makes it 77. 5. Thank you again, guest. Okay. So yeah. Wow. Quite a few viewers. More viewers than I was expecting. Hope you guys are enjoying. Sorry, JTD, I missed your thing because of the donation. Zoldyck family members get fulfillment from doing their assassin jobs to the best of their ability. I don't think they directly value money, but rather assassins need to get paid by nature, so if they don't get paid, they lose who they are as people. Yeah, and there's like you allude to, there's a great amount of pride that's invested in doing that job correctly. It is larger than life. It's insane how much how much they stake upon that aspect of the family, of the profession, of their job. So yeah, there's the money aspect, but I also think there's a great amount of pride in doing their job and doing it right. And Zeno, I think, carries that out. I think without Zeno, I get the feeling that without Zeno, things would go a bit out of whack. I think that Silva wouldn't be as directly focused as he is, but who knows? Maybe he could surprise me. Part of their identity, yeah. Why are my messages always too long? Erika Furudo taking a nap. In before the great detective knows. Actually, I haven't been playing music. Why not? The assassins are Zoldicks. Yeah, like Shadow says there, Zeno, like I said, Zeno, I feel, is keeping things together, but he is less essential. Like, Silva and Killua are the most essential parts of the Zoldyck family by their perception, because he is the most dispensable, considering being the older generation. I think so, Philzoff. I think that's a big part of it. And then again, the casual interactions here. I wish we could have seen how those two fought you. Never mind that your life was at risk. What you got for me, Sebastian? Thank you, Exotic. Very kind to say that. Fighting would be more fun than watching. Love how that's said with Hisoka blurred, skulking in the background. And then we get more of an introduction to Kortabi. Kortabi actually ends up doing something. Kortabi's power is extremely essential for the Phantom Troop. This copy ability, go take on people your level, Phaeton. Yeah. I like that too, Joel Hat. But yeah, Kortabi's ability is essential for a lot of their operations, as you can see for this auction. Sure, Sebastian. That's a good idea. Let me add that right now, actually. Let me add a new custom reward. Make me name a top 5 of anything. I'll be able to answer most of these. If I can't, you can give an alternate. So I'll put that for 2,000 channel points. And is it there? Can you just tell me if it's there, Sebastian, or anyone else? I just added a new channel points goal for a top 5. Make me name a top 5 thing, anything. I see it. Perfect. Thank you. That's a great suggestion, Sebastian. Good idea. Least favorite member of the troupe, but I will say that his copying ability is neat and feeds into the idea that not all troupe members are strong in the traditional way. Some of them have utility-based powers which can assist in their work as thieves. Yeah, they don't all have to be super strong. They can just be competent enough to not be a liability combat-wise, and then be useful in other ways, like Kortabi is. Yeah, I agree, Shadow. Yeah. Oh no, Sarah. Oh no. Yeah, of course, Nightshade. I'm very wary of spoilers. And mods are on top of that as well. Paku is also support? Yeah. And Paku's support and intelligence. Okay. And... Oh, by the way, I love this shot. So this we continue here, then they take over the auction. And I love this. So this is all being done, all being orchestrated by the Phantom Troupe. Kortabi's Tangela. True, Isaiah. And this is presented so beautifully. This is just so cool. We don't often get to see... You know, Machi is often hesitant to work with Hisoka, right? Shalnark is support as well, yep. Manipulating. We don't often get to see Machi and Hisoka work together because Machi doesn't like working with him, but it is hard to deny that they work as a great-ass team. This is directed so beautifully. Let me just close the music for a sec. So this is directed so well. Great ass team indeed. Both of them, absolutely. And then he comes into focus here. Darkness, the string, the blue color palette, her in the foreground, him in the background, the legs just dangling and struggling like that. That is so good. And it really, and then Machi in the foreground again, it really helps you understand they've got chemistry, not just in terms of their fun dialogue together, but they know how one another operate, and they do it so naturally and well. There is a natural, it's just so natural how they work together here. And the squirm, yeah, the squirm of the legs. Look at how that's animated. Like, look at that. That is brutal. Do you ship them? I don't tend to ship characters, but I can definitely see a really fun dynamic. I don't think Machi likes him, like genuinely likes him enough for that to happen, nor do I think Hisoka's capable of being in a relationship. But you know, they definitely have some chemistry and they're both hot, so that counts for something. Love that scene. Also, Pakunoda being the what do you call the person in auctions who just show off the items, being whatever that is, and doing it quite well. Paku looking great, absolutely. Hisoka can be the best team player ever. Oh, yeah, for sure. Hisoka should stop antagonizing people so much and do communal schemes more often. In teams, like, he has been shown to work well. We'll talk about that in a later arc as well. The auctioneer, is that the auctioneer? I thought he was the auctioneer. Yeah, I thought the auctioneer was the guy talking. Either way, you guys know what I mean. And then it's just so cool to see how they operate, using Kortabi's fakes. Really cool. And then here is where Kurapika's confronted with this emptiness that drowns him. Auctioneer assistant, gotcha. Continuity big time, JTD. Continuity in Hunter x Hunter. Name a better relationship. This guy, what was his name? Zenzi? Kurapika in the foreground. He is done. Yeah, they wouldn't have been able to do this without Kortopi. Zenji, gotcha. They wouldn't be able to do this mission without Kortopi, which is great, because he comes to the fore naturally once again, once he's more needed, and it's not like he begins becoming tons more talkative. He just talks when he needs to. His characterization doesn't change. It's just that his role becomes more important because that's their necessity. He also hit the hideout. Yeah, we'll get to that. And then, love this. Just destroy him. Just destroy him. And then, cut to the commercial. Love a good mid-episode postcard memory. And then, nice use of Lacrimosa. Not nearly as powerful, but I still like it here. And he can't believe this. And all this commotion around him as it zooms in very slowly on Kurapika and what this means for him. And then, also, I know this is fake, but this is one of the saddest, like, that's an extremely sad image. There's such a sad look in Machi's eyes, the way that's illustrated there. Like, oh man. I don't know, it evokes something into me. It evokes sadness in me, even though I know it's fake. Just the way that's illustrated. It's like a profound sadness in her eyes there. I think it's because, to me, this represents a possibility of the Phantom Troop who consistently act out, who consistently fight against this world that stifled them, being put to rest and being told you cannot carve out a place for yourself in this world anymore. Your existence is finished, and the sadness that comes with that. You know, they're awful people, obviously, but that concept is sobering, deeply sobering to me. Honestly, the Phantom Troop are such chads. They kill the Mafia, steal the valuables, and then sell fake versions of them so they get all the money. Yeah, efficiency at its finest. They are optimal. You think she'll look like this? I don't want to imagine an antagonist, but who knows? Who knows? Yeah, and the audience has been shown their bonds as well. That's a good point, Kairovin. And then we don't get the same thing. Like, we get Crollo's body here. Just shock. There's just shock in his eyes, right? But Machi's is deeply sad. And then it's different with the others, because Shizuku's eyes are closed, Feitan's eyes are closed. Shalnark's eyes are open, but again in shock. Machi's body hits different, and it's not just because of my affinity to Machi. Hopefully you guys understand what I mean. Me seeing dead Crollo and Machi? Oh, poor babies. Me seeing dead Feitan. Damn, you're a bit of a Feitan hater, eh, Shadow? Not a hater, I'm exaggerating. With the reaction that Uvo's death got, seeing all of them dead like that, even though, you know, it's fake, makes you think of what it would have been, looked like if it was real. Yeah, Uvo's death was extremely sad in that way because of what it represented. It represented the voice, the outcries of the people who have found their only means of finding family and bonds and connections and interacting with the world being completely stifled and cut short and quieted. And that is a sad concept. Even characterization and roles aside, that is just sad. Even though this is the end he wished for, yes. Kurapika, upon seeing this, must feel as though he wasted his future, dedicated his life to defeating them, and his restriction is essentially that he paradoxically has no life after they're dead, even though this is what they wish for. And I think that's the point here. The point is that this is so bad for Kurapika. We've known this. This revenge is so against everything he is. We know this. He knows this. He's self-aware. But only here, when in front of him, his duty being over, not fulfilled, but over, cut short, leaves him so empty. Revenge, this sort of revenge, just burns you from the inside out, and even if he were to have done it himself, there would be no fulfillment, no gratification, and done in this way, in a way that he doesn't do it, even less so. But we even saw when he did it himself with Uvo. He didn't feel any joy, any enjoyment, any triumph. So this just keys you into what this journey is for Kurapika. Hiei out and better. Oh yeah, Hiei's way better, but Hiei is also a far more central character. I see. I got you, Shadow. I got you, Shadow. Thorfinn. Ah, yeah. Yet continues to pursue it even after he finds that they're alive is so tragic. Yeah, he knows this. He knows. He's chaining himself down, pardon the pun, to this completely unfulfilling journey. Completely unfulfilling. But he has to. He feels like he has to. Franklin as well. And love how Lacrimosa just gently fades. Omens of what could be if they fail. We can also imagine the Phantom Troop preparing these corpses, their striking bloody state, and their resemblance acting like omens, yeah, of what could be if they fail. That's haunting. That's deeply haunting. Exactly, Eladan. Like, if his resolve is strong enough to continue down this path, it will only lead to that. And resolve in this case has a negative connotation. If he forgoes that and chooses connection and friends and love, he will be much better off. And we know this. This has been clear from the start. It just comes to, can he allow himself to do that? Yeah, Ari, I asked you to specify. I asked you to specify what you were referring to. Which final dialogue? He's not the naive kind of Avenger who thinks this will fulfill him or make him happy. It's just the only thing he believes he has the right to do, having survived. Yeah. Survivor's guilt. A twisted form of it. Pedro Lito, we talked about Franklin before. Essentially, I think he's the soul of the rules and, not rules. I think Franklin is the personification, outside of Crollo, of the soul, spirit, and philosophy of the Phantom Troop. I think he's a great older brother, sort of mentor, voice of reason sort of character. I like him quite a bit. Oh yeah, absolutely, JTD. Some have less emphasis than others, but that's just naturally going to happen in a story like this, and the ones with weight are so profound and meaningful. Yeah, I talked about that already, Ari. I talked about that earlier. I'm not sure. Maybe you missed it because you were working, but I'd recommend going through the VOD when we go through that part in the episode, because we talked about it for a few minutes. And then the Scarlet Eyes. Just a salt in the wound. But also, Ari, if you want to just tell me what your argument with your friend was or whatever, I could quickly maybe answer it. I could quickly answer it if you want. Exactly, antagonist. And then, yeah, no light in these eyes whatsoever. Then he closes them. The isolation here. Again, intentionally not seeing his eyes here. And then, yeah, bid as much as it takes. And then we have Zenji being the freaking asshole he is. And then I love little bits about light here. It sucks that I had to pay so much for this, but you know what? This means that the community receives more money. I guess it's fine because this will increase my reputation. Benefit my reputation. And then as long as I have Neon's fortune telling, I can easily make that back. Their relationship is deeply sad, but deeply significant and well fleshed out. This is an investment in my trek to the top. In order to succeed, I must keep Neon happy. Not because she's my daughter. Not because I should love her. Not because she should be the most important thing in my life. But because I need to succeed. I mentioned in the last stream about how he has a picture of him and Neon and how that might put something in your mind of maybe he does care for her. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe he's just bad at showing it, or maybe it's deep down, or maybe there's layers. This essentially confirms that no. Awful dad. Exactly, JTD. The golden goose. That's a good catch, Pedrolito. We're not quite near that moment. It's in the next episode, Andres. But yeah, we just have, again, we have this emptiness from Kurapika. Very somber again. Okay, and what did you believe, Eri? And then here. The low strings fade here. And then how the drums kick in here. People like to compare the 99 one we did this last stream. But nonetheless, like the almost ethereal, foggy filter here, and then the eyes peeking through it has a creepy, sort of haunting quality to it that I think is very effective in its own right. Like, and this, good God, like you can see the blazing inferno almost from within the eyes here. I love how they draw these pages within the manga with the lights in the back. Yeah. Yeah. I think it is more effective in 99. Just it's just more effective visually. I don't remember the song that played, but I think it was more effective than this one. But yeah, the same feeling is conveyed nonetheless. Oh yeah, absolutely never taken out of the scene. You believe Zeno would lose if Corolla was serious? I do too, Eri. I do as well. But I don't know how to power scale. I'm a fraud when it comes to that. Okay. And then best friends. These two are just naturally drawn to one another. You could just tell they'd get along. It's great. Hey, you're back. You just been kidnapped by the Phantom Troop. No big deal. We've been drinking and partying. Yeah, exactly, Shadow. Stress. Why does he suddenly have eye bags? Stress, depression, psychological trauma. Also, just the art style being honed in there. If you notice in episode 52, they zoomed into Chrollo's eyes and he had more bags. It's just an anime thing in a lot of ways. Yeah, Gon's face, Killua's face. I love them too. Best friends, Apile and Leorio. Yes, we did, Andres. We passed that last stream. Okay. And then they talk about the troop, the danger. He's been learning a lot from Zapile, Kurapika. Yeah, just some plot stuff. And then here, this is so sad. This is so sad on multiple levels. Firstly, because we know why Light wanted these for them, for Neon. She's his golden goose, using her as a tool. There's no affection here. This is their relationship in a nutshell. But also Kurapika looking on at the eyes of his brethren being used as this treasure, this materialistic treasure. It's just so twisted. It's just so twisted. And then his eyes here. There is, oh, God. Oh, this arc does, I mean, I'm stating the obvious here, but this arc does so much for Kurapika. I can't even begin to describe it. If they were fake, how that would make him feel. I think there'd be a bit more of a fire in him Maybe a bit of rage because them being used in that way. Maybe a mix of those sorts of things, Shadow. I'm just spitballing here. Are you feeling better now? And it shows Karapi got hurt. Yeah. Are you feeling better now? God. All right, Sebastian. We'll see how far we get. Okay. And then Melody, once again, centering Karapika, understanding his mental state. You should get some rest. Oh yeah, I don't think Karapika hates Neon at all. But just seeing his eyes being used in that context, it's horrible. It's horrible. I don't think Kurapika hates Neon at all. I agree. I think he's able to separate her fixation with the eyes and her situation. And I think he does feel sympathy for her. But Melody, just this immense understanding, interpersonal understanding, and being the spiritual center and core. And love how the choice of using Melody's theme for this scene. This is beautifully presented. She do be Thomas core. And then this, the tone of voice, the expanse of the city in front of him. No, not necessary to stop the troop. And then this, the grand expanse of the sky in front of him. Just this aimlessness, this isolation, desolation. This emptiness, this void in front of him. I love how this is presented. Is he okay is the question we always ask about Kurapika. It is. And then at the same time, love, this is so poetically interspersed. Hisoka's trying to contact him. It's a shame. To provide some comfort. Hisoka deeply understands Kurapika. I mean, not that it's hard to understand his quest for vengeance, but he is being a menace. And then again, positioned above everyone else. And love Nobunaga's expression here. Could be a bit miffed at the Requiem, maybe? Yeah, looking quite mad. Or something else. He's just... Nobunaga is very often upset about things. And they're doing a little bit of a celebration. Very cool. Some camaraderie. Discord Tyke is such an awesome character. I didn't know what you meant at first. They probably made fun of him for not being able to keep the two kids here. True. Just gotta hear that from Keiji Fujiwara. Nane? And then we have it. It says it all. An indescribable emptiness. Thank you for the follow, Super Elite Jimmy. I agree with that, Shadow. Nobunaga, I mean, it's still his family. It's still thicker than blood. It's still a place where he belongs. But there's a bit of friction there. I still think he belongs. I still think he fits, but not as seamlessly as he used to without Uvo there. And that's very sad to me. Kurapika do be drowning. Oh, it's mean to hell. Yeah, it's definitely mean to hell, but it is so good. Kurapika is drowning in an indescribable emptiness. Oh, and this scene. Oh, man. Oh. Episode 54. So this is... Oh. The music, never used again. Unreleased track. And then, arms outstretched. What does he see beyond there? unbelievable. Looking down at his legs, at his family, at himself, with again a bit of a subdued sadness. Oh yeah, he's sad at the tons of garbage. That's what it is. Oh yeah. Before the next episode, the manga has more context that is kind of relevant I want to talk about because the anime cuts out the part where the Mafia discovers the Phantom Troop's identity. Okay. What you got then, Shadow? If you have a panel or something you want to show, I'm not sure what you mean, or if you would just want to say something. And in that, they mention one of the stories about how Meteor City residents carried out suicide attacks to avenge one of their own, leaving a message that says, "We accept everything, so don't take anything away from us." The same message that was left in the Kurta clan massacre site, which has very interesting implications. Yes. We accept everything, so don't take anything away from us. Yeah, so here, this is what Andres shared with me. Or should I do that now? I'll do that later, I guess. I'll do it later, because it comes later in the episode. Hold it for a bit. What do you mean? What do you mean hold it? I gotta go through. I gotta get through. What do you mean? You gotta give me a bit more than that, Andres. Why am I holding? I don't know if it's not in the anime at all. I have always associated with it, but maybe that's because I remembered it from the manga. The anime doesn't cut out the Mafia finding out the Phantom Troop's identity. Hold the screenshot. Oh, okay, hold the screenshot. I gotcha. Okay, I'll hold it. Yep. I'll wait for later. Gotcha. Cool, Darkside. There's no need to really catch up. I mean, you're never gonna catch up. It's really hard. These are like 4 or 5 hours each. So, I mean, you can join in. You've seen the story before, right? So if you want to contribute, you can contribute. You don't need to watch the Heaven's Arena one before this one necessarily. But up to you. And then the light coming in as morning dawns. So this just I mean, we've already talked about a lot of the implications that this has before, but it's just beautifully summed up, and the efficiency, again, the thought food. What is that tape? Then finding so much to find fulfilling out of nothing. The state of Meteor City. Crollo being able to look at it idealistically, arms outstretched at this place that is his home, and the contrast to how he feels now. Perhaps a time where he wasn't so focused on understanding himself and just lived. It evokes all sorts of thoughts. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that later. That's what we were talking about with Andres, Shadow. And then here. Oh, slice of life perfection. Slice of life for me always works so well in contrast to darkness or intensity as a respite. Because this is just... Yeah, this is so smoothly animated. Slice of life Sakuga? Love it. And then here. Krapka! Spits it out in Killua's face. This is great. And so Kurapika, who's been dwelling on the emptiness he feels. Best Kurapika moment. Definitely right up there. It might be my favorite. For what it means for him, it very well may be. So Kurapika, who's been fixating on why this is so horrible that the troop are all dead because he didn't get to do it himself, he feels so empty, whatever, downcast completely. And then Gon says, first thing he says, this is great. This is wonderful. The spiders are dead, so now you can finally focus on your main goal. Your main goal isn't revenge. Your main goal is restoring the eyes of your people. And what I love about this is I've talked a lot about the concept of being so tunnel visioned on something. So maybe in this negative spiral, negative state of mind because you're so tunnel visioned on just one goal. Like Kurapika is focused on revenge, the troop, etc. I miss them being happy as well, Hannah. But sometimes all it takes is an external perspective to shine a light on things in a way that you've never seen before, and that you've never thought of before. And it can be so simple, but so essential for someone to just bring that into the fore. And Ganja says here, it's great. Now you can focus on the more productive thing, restoring the eyes of your people. A much more positive thing. This happens in Haikyuu as well. I won't spoil, but what Hoshiyumi does for Hirugami in his backstory opens a world of possibilities just through saying, you can just do this. It's the whole essence of Tidus's character in Final Fantasy X, through being that external perspective and showing these people a whole new world of possibilities. I love that concept and that theme, and it's done so well here through Gon. Hoshiyumi, indeed. He knows how insensitive it would be to try and stop him from going after them, so instead he just tries to nudge him towards other, more positive things. Very, very intuitive, or very, very tactful. I don't know the right word for it. Thank you for the follow, Pyro7. Yeah, the Leorio Kurapika part in 99 is hilarious for this, and very slightly gay. I'm trying to find the word for it, but he's very perceptive. Gon is very perceptive. The best Kurapika moment has to be where he's sitting from the back. Oh, that might be it, Andres. That's kind of raw. It's very sound and very purposeful. Yeah, the very slightly was tongue in cheek. And then here, Gon, and then he's in shock. Yeah. And then here, this is peak. My heart. This is who he is. This is Kurapika. Connection, love for his friends, enjoying life, this sensitive soul who just wants to reach out for others, the happiness he feels when he's with his friends. Melody has made him smile before, of course. We talked about that. This is the most natural Kurapika's felt. Revenge does not suit him at all. At all. Which is why it's so sad that he feels duty-bound towards it. The serotonin. Oh, man. If you were lacking in serotonin, here you go. You want to see the animation one more time? I do. Revenge arcs usually have this kind of forced anti-revenge narrative going on with them, and I'm glad Togashi went for a far more nuanced approach than that. Yeah, revenge arcs tend to go like, I've got to stop because it burns me out, there's no fulfillment here. A classic sort of cliche version of that done quite well, in my opinion, is Scar from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. But that tends to be a pretty predictable way for them to go. And there's complete nuance to this, because it's not done in that structure at all here. And later Kurapika stuff, I won't spoil it, but it's done quite differently here. For anyone who's interested in a revenge plot done completely differently, by the way, check out Black Sails. Gotta add in my Black Sails plugs when I can. Anyway. I love that for once a protagonist is actually willing to help their friend with their revenge, just not at the cost of their health and happiness. Yeah, that's where Gon finds exception to it. If Kurapika was fulfilled and gratified by what he was doing, I don't think Gon would have much of a problem. But he sees that it doesn't suit him. It doesn't suit him. And then some banter, Leorio's a pile banter. One of my favorite scenes. Look at the pure smile. My boy's back. And then here. And the music. They're back. They're back. I'm going to expose Hannah here. When we were watching this, Hannah teared up at this part. Am I right? I think you did, right? If you're still in chat. And I'm tearing up a little bit myself at this part. My heart is so full. My heart is so full. I love him. I love him so much. Gon is not projecting morals onto others, just what is best for them. Exactly. Exactly. Gon has never been one to do that. Just do what's best for them. Am I the only one who changes clothes here? Yeah, and this is so gratifying because it's so rare, like Kairoven says, to see them together like this. It's been so long, which makes it heightens the fulfillment here. Lario does bring the sunshine wherever he goes. And so yeah, they catch up. He explains his power a little bit. Me too, Zephyrix, but we'll have to talk about that next stream, because that's Greed Island. So yeah, he explains it to them, and then the tone completely shifts. It's deadly serious now once they realize what he's done, what his resolve, the extent of his resolve. Yeah, the Nen vow explanation. It's very important here. It's kind of something we've been able to get through subtext and through Izunabe's explanations, but it's very much laid out here. Gon taking mental notes. Me too, Exotic. And I love this shot. In the foreground, his hand in complete focus with the chains there. My power is the product of pure hatred. This is my resolve. Love this shot of him just looking at his hand, at his chains. No, we didn't say that at all to antagonist. We said the opposite of that. We said this stream will be the second half of Yorknew. Attack on Titan stole this. Low key. I squashed them like bugs. And then look at Killua right there. Yeah. And because he knows Pakunoda's power, how dangerous this is. Yeah. So he explains it. There's just a lot of them interacting, laying out details that we know about the plot, but in a way that sort of frames it in a way that kind of helps them understand and establish where they go next. Which puts a new spin on it. So Hisoka knows that he's the chain user. Nice little shot there. And then we go to the troop. And then Nobunaga, fixated on revenge. We have to find the chain user and bring about retribution, similar to that exact chain user. Killua knows how painful it is to force yourself into murder that isn't part of your nature. He absolutely does. A big parallel between the two there. And then Chrollo, yeah, Nobunaga once again being the odd man out. We have to get retribution for the chain user. Everyone else is very laid back here. And Chrollo notably says, "You seem obsessed." Information is so important in Hunter x Hunter because Togashi will legit write character inner monologues with so much realism based on the knowledge we've shown they have. Yeah, it's like he must have the biggest mind board of all the characters and keeping track of what they know, because that is overwhelming. Kurapika is not even that good at hate, clearly better at love. Yeah. Yeah, because the characters will say a bunch of stuff that's completely wrong. That's what Shadow said. Hunter x Hunter is the master at characters being intelligent, but wrong, but still basing the things they say logically off of the information that they have. And that is more impressive to do than characters just being right all the time or having the right information, because you have to keep their perspectives and the information that's been revealed to them all in check. Yeah, I've been forgetting the music. Okay. Yeah, we have to avenge Uvo. And then Franklin, ever the heart of the Phantom Troop, or the philosophy, the boss has issued an order. We can't go back against that. Yeah, Machi looked great in that shot. She always looks great. Yeah, so this is the scene. That's the hardest part of rewatching shows too. It's so easy to fall into the trap of assuming that characters know things that they don't find out until later. Yeah. We see this at the end of Yorknew City when Melody suspects that the eyes have been stolen, but in actuality, they weren't aware that they were copies made by Kortabi. Yeah, that is something I haven't really appreciated much until these streams. Shadow's been pointing that out to me, and then I've been keeping an eye on that, and Togashi is so good at... Again, it's very natural, but it's something you can't get wrong if you're going to go that direction. It's so good. Annie Leonhardt in the back. Damn, Osmustus, just ahead. Okay, so is this where I should bring it up, Andres? Yeah, he just first named Crollo. Nope. Yeah, right. This is it. I'm talking to Crollo. Yeah, this is the exact scene, Andres. This is the exact scene. So there's no better place to bring it up. So in the manga, hold on. So in the manga, we have this. Right here. Okay, Thomas, I hope you can join Sunday as well. Thanks for stopping by. Yes, we are, Davinator. We're finishing we're finishing Yorknew this stream. Okay, so this also happens before Kurapika reunites with Gon and Killua. Yeah, so they rearrange things a little bit. So this is what happens. We have this scene. I'm talking to Crollo. So Nobunaga, watch yourself, Franklin says. And then he says, I'm talking to Crollo. So the equivalent of this in the manga is right here. We find the chain dude. Don't get hung up on that. How could I not? Knock it off. It's the leader's orders. Are you really speaking as our leader, Crollo? So the translation's different here. The nuance is different. Kind of makes sense, though, when you remember Nobunaga is quite a bit older than Crollo. They might have been even friends, childhood friends. So he was talking to him like he might have used to back then, which is interesting. Indeed. Are you really speaking as our leader, Crollo? And then a very interesting glance there. And then we have this page. A flashback to what we see at the beginning of the chapter here. In the beginning, we just wanted. So me and Andres talked a lot, or not a lot, but a decent amount, about what this could mean, what this could be alluding to. There are ways. I don't think I want to get into it as deeply as I did there, unless you guys really want to. But I'm interested in what you guys think this might be alluding to. This could be said from the perspective of Nobunaga or Crollo, and I think either way there's complexion for it that makes sense. The videotape could just be a representation, or it could be a Easter egg for Yu Yu Hakusho. Chapter Black, or it could just be a representation of just genuine treasure, treasure through mundane things like that. It could just be, or it could be both. How the things they wanted paled in comparison to what they go after now. So, yeah, I don't think I can remember everything, Blossom, fully, but from the perspective of Crollo, you could say their first time stealing something as a childhood gang, before the troop was officially formed. Yeah, so that's interesting. So then that could then be alluding to the idea that, thanks, Andres. I just saw that. So that could, from what Shadow's saying there, that could then be an allusion to the idea of, in the beginning, this is all there was. We just had such simple desires. Now it's expanded to all this. And talking to, let me just switch the song here, not very appropriate. Talking to Nobunaga and bringing up Chrollo's first name would reference back to that and make him think back to that time. And notably, like I think Shadow was talking about, this page brings attention to Chrollo, Franklin, Nobunaga, perhaps the three eldest members, the three most original, if that makes sense. It was very simple back then, but it was always the same thing, getting what they weren't allowed to have by the world. Now it's just on a much bigger scale. I love the way you put that. In the beginning, we just wanted that. This scene specifically is manga only, GX. Thank you for the sub, Zephyrix. If you wanted to go towards one of the video goals that are linked in the goals command that Sarah just linked there, please let me know. Regardless, thank you so much for the support. Yeah, no worries, GX. So yeah, that's really interesting. And then so Andres just linked me to the conversation we had. So what I said, Andres showed me this. And then he said, and then I was giving my thoughts, and I said, with all that in mind, I think that Nobunaga is fixated on the idea of the origins of the Phantom Troop and how it is cohesive to Meteor City. So the panel that showed here, don't ever take anything away from us, that motto, right? Nobunaga, in my opinion, is very concentrated on the idea of wrath for those that take things from them in a quasi-connection to Meteor City, whereas Chrollo is who he is in large part due to Meteor City, but has internalized the psychological effects it had on him and has diverged into a bit of a more selfish direction, more concerned with the spider's longevity for obvious reasons. So there's a bit of a divergence here that I think that Nobunaga has observed. Nobunaga looks back at the retaliatory side of the core of why they did this in the first place. Chrollo looks at his internalized psychology and how it pertains to his identity and says, are you speaking as that leader? Or, like, what's the deal here? Hence why he errs on the side of caution, Chrollo does. It's easy to dismiss the idea of punishment for Kurapika, because there are bigger priorities for Chrollo. But I think that Nobunaga conceptualizes the leader of the Spider as someone who will carry out retribution directly tied to that motto from Meteor City, more of a direct tie to their origin. And he isn't a fan of Chrollo getting tied up in his identity stuff. A few times throughout the arc, he opposes him and leans much more on individualism, which ironically is something that Chrollo cannot allow himself to do. Interesting contrast there. Andres then said, in the beginning we wanted scene, very wholesome song, but I can't skip this. There's like this solitary and simple idea that they wanted. It's purposely not told to us by Togashi, I believe, in 2 scenes. Yet, as you point out, the scene indeed takes place in Meteor City, and Nobunaga's interests align with that idea. But the framing of the scene within this chapter makes me think to reach at something as simple as him aligning with Meteor City's goals seems as too simple. And then I said, the idea of what they wanted, if I had to guess, would probably be a life or to live, that sort of existence. But sort of what I've talked about before as the reason for why they do what they do and interact with the world in that way. It immediately connects to that simple but childish desire to be able to live wholeheartedly. It was probably the stimulus for Chrollo, which has now evolved into a gigantic goal that still has that at its crux, but encapsulates so much more, whereas Nobunaga's idea of what it means to live is far more hot-blooded and simple. So what Shadow brought up is very interesting with pertaining to their purpose and how it's grown, but the same core element is still there. But also, there's this contrast of what it means to live between Nobunaga and Chrollo pertaining to the motto of Meteor City and what existence pertains. Nobunaga's is much more hot-blooded, retaliatory, and simple, and reactionary. Chrollo's is much more introspective and identity-based now, and I think Nobunaga understands that, has that awareness, and is pointing it out here. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. It's a really interesting discussion. The video on Megalobox Nomad. Thank you very much, Zephyrix. I will put that towards Nomad right away. We're at 31%. Perfect. So yeah, very interesting. Maybe Gon and Killua reminded Nobunaga of their childhood innocence. That companionship reminded him of the origins of the Phantom Troop. Very likely. He got very nostalgic when seeing them interact. This is 54, Sebastian. Living in the now versus looking towards the future. Maybe, from a certain perspective. That's true. Yeah, when you integrate it with Crollo's prophecy, yeah, I get that for sure. Also, by the way, just want to point out this little detail. What day were you born? Nobunaga's born the day after me. Kindred spirits for real. Yeah, Nobunaga's more conservative, a bit more traditional. Not born in 1970, though. I was born a little bit after 1970. The year after you, too. Yeah, Crollo just asked a completely irrelevant question. And then it's written on... Also, I love how Crollo looks when he activates this. 71, exactly. Yeah, my birthday's September 7th. And I love Nobunaga's look at this. This is so completely... It's so unique. It's something that they haven't... something that he hasn't seen ever before. Yeah, and he trolls him by having him answer first and then write it out. What is your birthday? Whatever. Okay, write it out. Crollo do be trolling a little bit. Okay, and then here we get it. This is the same. The first moon, having missed his opportunity, continues to pursue the 11th moon alone. Withers and falls. But the spider does not stop, even after losing half its limbs. So slightly different there because of the differing roles between... Oh, interesting, Santi. That's cool. Between Nobunaga and Crollo. So, the first moon is... I forget the Phantom Troop numbers. First moon, is that Nobunaga? Having missed his opportunity. I don't know. Is that Crollo? I don't know the numbers. Yeah, it's Nobunaga? Okay. So the first moon, having missed his opportunity, continues to pursue the 11th moon alone. This is very clearly indicative of his fixation on what he's been talking about here. Crollo 0. Okay, yeah, gotcha. Essentially saying that Nobunaga's blind pursuit of Kurapika will lead to the Phantom Troop to lose a lot. Yes. Thus proving Crollo's point. This is pretty straightforward. So yeah, it tells the future. Next week, 5 of us will probably die. Also, I love, the casual tone. Which 5? I kind of understand the second verse. Yeah. Okay, and then Shizuku, very upfront. Boss, tell my fortune. The remaining months gather to mourn. You join your ally as an offering, so joining Uvo, I assume, to keep him from being lonely. That is phrased so sadly. To keep him from being lonely. So some sort of self-sacrifice, it alludes to. Yeah, for sure, Pedrolito. There's only so much we can do. This is such an interesting prophecy because it proves how dangerous Kurapika was to them. He legit could have wiped them out if they didn't know what was happening. He had that possibility. It's literally stated here. Who knew that an AP Lit lesson could be so good? You will find eternal rest in a room filled with black merchandise. So maybe she died in this hypothetical situation. Black merchandise maybe being the merchandise they stole. Beware solitude above all. To beware being alone. You have the most to fear when you are alone with another. So that's just another hypothetical situation that keys us into a situation that could have happened with Kurapika. You know what I'm thinking here? Yeah. What are you thinking, Shadow? Or can you not say it? And then, yeah, it's very unsubtle about her death. It straight up says it. I'm gonna die next week. Also, I need to show her tone of voice here. By the way, this is the voice actress that does, who was I gonna say? I forget. She's the voice actress for someone else. The end of the stream, gotcha. Thank you, Santi. But yeah, anyway, it's straight up. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die next week. Seriously. Damn, yeah. Because I only got 2 verses. Also, it straight up says, you know, you're gonna join your friend to prevent him from being lonely, but that too. This explains the wordplay. Thank you, JTD, for giving out a community sub. Do you want to put that towards any of the goals? Either way. Oh, Sarah's always got me beat when it comes to the goals. Thank you so much, JTD, for the support. They correctly guessed the chain user. You know, they're deciphering this. And then this means we'll suffer serious casualties if we fight the chain user and follow Nobunaga's train of thought. It would have been absolutely huge, because that's a lot of support. And I love... Well, we'll get to that in a second. Penguin drum is what I was thinking, Pedrolito. Himari. She plays Himari Takakura from Penguin Drum. If you return home today, we won't run into the chain user next week, so... Yeah. And then Hisoka just looking on there. Alright, JTD. I'll put that towards a choice of my own then. Which will be Fly. Or I'll put it towards... Yeah, I'll put it towards Fly. Shalnark not really valuing himself here, but later on Crollo saying that Shalnark is more valuable than the fighters is a pretty good detail. That is cool. Do they just vibe in Meteor City? That's what I've assumed. It's the closest thing to a home. You and Yuva were the troop's attackers. To die is part of your job. So very collectivist, very play your roles, serve as the spider above all, right? And I believe you chose that role voluntarily. And then, yeah, these guys collect intelligence. They provide our support. They're not as easily, they're a lifeline. You're supposed to serve as their shield. And then Hisoka, the friggin' jester, the troll, the fool he is, perhaps we could gather additional clues for avoiding the prophecy, even though with him, pertaining to him, that is playing with fire. Oh, they cut away. But I love the use of the ambient rain. It's great. Absolutely walking on the edge. Yeah, so then Kurapika says, you know what? I'll focus on that. And we should support him there. And then Hisoka... Hisoka throws a wrench in it all. A mild amount of tomfoolery, you could say. And then I love this shot. Oh, this is beautifully directed. Let me just turn off the music for a second. That quiet, the complete silence, as the thunder claps, beautiful. And then this shot of him. Again, you can see him drifting once more towards that isolated loneliness. As much as he knows it's not him, he drifts back into it. And then there's only ever going to be one thing happening. And then, but then again, they're here to support him this time, and that is essential. Yeah, the lighting here, the shadowing, that was a beautiful shot. They came from Meteor City. Yeah. Yeah, so the reward has been rescinded. They start talking about Meteor City a little bit here. Love this. Yes. Continue with the Hisoka. Hold on. Ah. I'm stuck on... There we go. Get rid of that. Perfect. Well, we have this. We have this Hisoka one. Where is it? Right here. I'm partial to this one, but that's really good too. Sebastian, name my top 5 of anything. What you got? What do you got? Chrono Trigger characters. 1 second. Chrono Trigger characters. Okay, Magus, Shala, Luca, Robo. Frog. Yep, I got the same top 5. This OST does fit in Yorknew City. The order though, Sebastian, would be Magus, Shala, Frog, Luca, Robo. I think that would be my order. You gotta redeem the reward, Andres. You gotta redeem the reward. Them's the breaks. And then I love this. How this is put. Oh, you did? Oh, sorry, I didn't see that. Okay, 1 second. A city populated by people who, as far as society is concerned, don't exist. That is key, and that is again the origin from which the troop springs off from. The thing that causes this reaction. Okay, thank you, Sebastian. Okay, so top 5 troop members that are not Krollo, Uvo, Nobunaga, Pakunoda, or Machi. Hisoka not included, I guess? Okay, so let's see. I have that answer for you right away. Wait, did you say Nobunaga? Damn it. Okay. So, in totality, with all the material done, or at this point in the story, Andres. Many thanks for watching. Or little thanks for watching. In totality. Okay, so it would be then it would be Finks 1. Actually, I don't know if I can order them, but Finks, Kalu, you know, uh, maybe Franklin, Shalnark, and Phaeton. I think is what I would go with. I think that's what I would go with. You guys have seen Greed Island. Maybe. I don't know. Hopefully that wasn't a big deal. Yeah, I think that's what I'd go with. Did I forget anyone obvious? I think that's probably it. Yeah, probably it. Franklin, did I say... someone who comes later, Dark Side. You would have put it in Quartapy. Does Krollo need to force Zeno to write down his ability to steal it? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know how that works. Again, logistics with abilities isn't great for me. It's not my forte. Sorry about that. Anyways, this line, officially it's unpopulated, but it said that 10 million people live there. You can dump anything there, garbage to weapons, even people. And this is a paraphrasing of the motto. And the residents will accept anything left there. I assure that the residents of Meteor City share a bond thinner than between strangers, stronger than between family. And they have ties to the mafia community. Just interesting world building here. Nice, again, nice depth and breadth added to the world here. And then Hisoka's. Which story, Andres? I might have missed it. I thought we talked about it already. I'm not sure. Maybe. If this is a good spot for it, then sure. So this to me suggests that within the city itself was probably a lot of cruelty and every man just for himself kind of life. Just that when opposed by the outside world, they unite. Yeah, that's more or less what I gathered as well. The sort of dynamic similar to that. It's us versus the world sort of mentality, like a, I don't know, like a blockade mentality almost. Or a siege mentality. Sure, if you want to, Santi. That's fine. It's not explained until the next arc. Then we'll do it when it happens chronologically, Andres. A red-eye customer will visit your shop, half angel, half deathbringer. Love that description of Kurapika. And yeah, I love the use of color, like Shadow says there, to differentiate between the real and fake prophecy. You would do well to sell the calendar's secrets. So like, they read that line, he is dead. There's no way Chrollo hadn't taken into account that Hisoka might have been trolling. It might have crossed his mind. I don't know, Andres. If you want to share it, then share it. It's hard for me to operate having not read the manga to... sure, share it, if you want to. I don't know. I haven't read the manga in like 6 years. I don't know what comes when. So just share it if you think this is a good spot for it. The customer will return on a hot day, leaving you alone with a man bearing St. Peter's cross. So that, like that, they read that, Hisoka's dead. The false fourth moon, and then the false fourth moon, like there is so much incriminating stuff here. Only 6 pages remain. This guy just walks on the edge here. And then this is the color. Oh, sorry, yes. Suggest a video and stream topic. The Telltale games? Maybe. I've kind of thought of that in the back of my mind, Fruitwad Sprite. But it's not something that is a huge priority. I played a few of them and they were fine. I liked them well enough, but it isn't something that I really think is an immediate concern, personally. Yeah, he thought up a whole new poem in like 2 seconds. Okay, I'll take a look at them really quickly, Andres. Can we add Western movies to your plan to watch list, or just anime? Just anime. Just anime. Well, it depends. If you can suggest one, and I can say if I'll do it. Yeah, why would he do it? That still puts him under suspicion. It's not an advantage. It's not really to his advantage, exactly. It's incriminating. It's the perfect amount of incriminating. It's so cool. Yeah, so he... And then I love the shot here. Right there. Kino. Nobunaga's so good. Yeah, that's been on my radar, Dark Side. I think I'll probably watch it sometime. Yeah, and he puts immense trust in Crollo having to figure this out for himself, putting it all together. He trusts in his intelligence a great deal. This guy, and then Crollo's look there. Anyway, that's 54. So let me just read what Andres sent me really quick. Okay, I don't want to dwell on this too long, because, you know, the stream's already going on long. But here is the story. Which one was first? This one's first. So 10 years ago, a bum with no ID was arrested for murder. There was no trace of him ever existing. He said he was from Meteor City. He claimed he was innocent, but the police prosecuted. The court found him guilty without giving him an adequate defense. 3 years later, a drug addict was arrested and his past crimes were uncovered. Turns out the bum was innocent. Right afterwards, 31 people involved in his case, from the beat cops, the judge, the prosecutor, his defense, even the jury and witnesses were killed. We'll accept anything you leave here, but don't take anything away from us. That message was left near their bodies. If the troop is from Meteor City, then you don't want to fight against them. Or fight them. Shouldn't we be saying that about them? Know how they died? Suicide bombers. The killers blew themselves and their targets up with bombs in their pockets. Each one asked to shake his charge's hand with a smile on his face. All 31 of them at the same time. And in revenge, 31 of them gave up their lives to kill 31 of us. We're up against the wrong people, the Dons would agree. We don't know what they teach their kids, but it sure ain't math. Their bonds are thinner than water, yet thicker than blood. That's really cool. Thanks, Bando Ammo. Yeah. It is foreshadowing for stuff that will happen later. This is cool. It's like that sort of collective, again, world against us mentality, that collective wrath, it's immense. We're up against the wrong people. That's really cool. Thanks for sharing, Andres. Again, similar stuff like that adds richness and detail that I don't remember because of the manga. You can just send it. I don't know when to organize where to talk about it, so just send it when you feel is most appropriate. Excuse the voice crack. Most appropriate. He trusted in his intelligence, but it was also partially a test. If Crollo couldn't figure it out, then he wouldn't have been exactly what Hisoka thought of him. He expected, but also hoped for him to figure it out. It was faith. Yeah, it was faith and confidence. I agree, Kairovan. Hisoka is definitely one of the most intelligent. Ace Attorney Final? What? What are you referring to, Santi? Yeah. Yeah, it's that connection, yeah. Togashi's absolutely insane. Again, planting seeds earlier on in arcs for later stuff. This guy does it in his sleep. Very true, Vehement.